An excellent mansion, a magnificent manicured garden, a beautiful blonde woman in front of it. It's so similar to the world of autumn games. The hero wonders if this is an autumn game, but he keeps drinking tea and decides to think about it later. Blondinka asks him if he listens to her at all. He replies that he is, of course, all attention. She continues to tell some story, but the hero does not even let her finish and notices that it is very exciting. She screams that she didn't even finish, and she's tired of it. She demands that he behave like a gentleman and asks him to at least try to be a bit like Roy. He wonders who Roy is. When he heard about Roy, he was finally convinced that he was in an autumn game because the blonde only talks about him. He was so uninterested that it wasn't until he heard the name that he realized everything. Roy is the first prince, the #1 target in your star. The main male character, if he remembers correctly. Your star. I do anything for you, that's the name of the game. How does he know about this game? Everything is very simple. I helped my sister through it. He remembers that his little sister told him all about this game in a previous life. And in this world, he's an only child. And this girl across from him is Lydia von Ernst, the Duke's daughter and rival to the heroine in Roy's Route. In the game, she was Roy's fiancée and had to be taken seriously. And now they are in one of the corners of her huge garden. He is also the son and apprentice of the Duke's gardener Isaac Baumgarten. Although, when he helped his sister with the game, he did not observe any gardener's students. Here are the cases. He's not even a mob. 3 years ago, Hall of the Ernst estate. He was born with memories from his previous life. But what good is this knowledge? He doesn't think he should discuss it with anyone. The day he entered the manor, he became his father's apprentice. They were now in the Duke's palace. The Duke descends the stairs. When she sees Isaac, she says he's cute. Isaac looks at the Duke and wonders how handsome he is. The father greets the Duke and says that his son is still not experienced, but he is confident that he can properly train him. Before they go to work, he would like to introduce him to the Duke. The boy says that his name is Isaac Baumgartner, and it is an honor for him. The Duke says his name is Harold, and he is pleased to meet you. He tells Isaac that he looks too young here and asks how old he is. My father replies that he is 7 years old. The herald says it's great. At such a young age, he's already able to handle the duties of an apprentice. Maybe he's very smart. My father replies that it's not true. He's just a cheeky kid. The Duke says that he is only 2 years older than his daughter, and maybe he wants to play and have fun, not work. Isaac replies that this is not the case. He would like to start protecting the Duke's garden as soon as possible. His father manages the huge garden of the estate alone, and he wants to earn his father's respect by helping him and continuing his business. The Duke smiles and says it's cute. He wished he had a son like him. A girl enters the room. The Duke calls her a precious little angel and asks her where she's been all morning. The girl tells her father that this is too much. The maid he provided for her is simply disgusting. When she was arranging her hair, the comb got stuck and she was in a lot of pain. The Duke pats her on the head and tells her that his D's beautiful hair is very sensitive, so he imagines how much she was hurt. She shouts that he should immediately fire this armless fool. Everyone falls silent. Suddenly, Isaac tells her that she has a nasty temper. Everyone in the room turns to look at him. His father slaps him on the head and demands that he apologize. Isaac is silent. Just because she's of noble birth doesn't mean she can fire people at the behest of the left heel. He doesn't understand why he should apologize to her. The girl asks him what he just said. Isaac replies that he said that she is a little girl with a disgusting temper and terrible manners, and therefore will grow up to be a rare freak. She asks him if he knows who he's talking to. Isaac replies that it's the Duke's daughter. She says that's exactly what he did. Did he think that commoners were allowed to talk to nobles like this? Isaac asks if it's true that her father is powerful. The girl answers in the affirmative. He asks her if it is true that she is powerful. She again answers in the affirmative. Isaac asks what her power is. She says that's what she's talking about. Isaac repeats his question about her power. He explains that the Duke has earned his reputation by carrying great responsibilities and performing many duties, but what makes it great? She replies that she belongs to the Ernst family. Isaac asks again if it's not her father, as the head of the family, who has the exclusive right to decide who to fire. The girl doesn't know what to say. She slaps him. He gives her a creepy look. The girl is shocked, and the boy says that resorting to violence, she admits defeat, and he did not even play his best card. It's clear as day that she can't answer his question. Of course, she knows that she is far from her father. The girl clenches her fists, turns around, and runs away. Isaac feels the danger looming from his father, but the Duke stops his father and thanks Isaac. The boy asks to accept his apology. He doesn't know what came over him, and he didn't think about what he said to his daughter. The Duke says that in fact, he simply saved him. Usually, he can't even tell her off. Answering a question with a question is interesting. I'll have to try it out somehow. Isaac thinks about how this tactic was tested on his sister in a previous life. The butler comes out and reminds the Duke of the time. The Duke says he has to go, but he will be back soon. As he leaves, he tells Isaac that his sweet Dia is as beautiful as an angel, and he can assure him that her inner world is just as beautiful. He agrees. He wonders why all parents adore their children so blindly. When they leave the Duke's house, his father swears at him, and he says that he should have apologized sincerely. Isaac says he's really sorry. Dia is sitting at a table on the outdoor veranda, having lunch. She thinks that she didn't have anything to say and had to back off in a hurry, but she will show this ignoramus who is in charge here. She asks the maid who the morning brood is anyway. She says he was with Mr. Baumgartner, and she thinks he's a gardener's apprentice. The girl is surprised that this den-raised character is one of their servants. She says she is surprised that, with such workers, their garden is still standing. She finishes her tea and decides to go for a walk in the garden. Going out to the garden, she sees a boy working there and asks him to distract himself for a moment. He continues to work and asks what's the matter. She was out of breath. Dia asks why he works so far away. Isaac asks her if she came all the way across the huge garden of their estate just to ask about it. He wants to know why she's here. She informs him that she has come to give him another opportunity to beg for her forgiveness. He's surprised that such a young lady would run so far. He asks if she's skipping school. Dia informs him that she doesn't have any classes today. It seems to Isaac that the children of the nobility have a lot of their own activities and responsibilities. She says it's true. Isaac apologizes for using the wrong language. Dia thinks that she came all this way to defeat him, and for some reason, he apologized so easily. She screams at him to look him in the face when you ask for forgiveness. He should apologize for that. Isaac says it's too much. He'd already spent so much time apologizing just because his father had insisted, and he's got a lot of work to do here, at least until sundown. She asks him what he's so busy with. Isaac explains that he thins out some herbs that repel insects, otherwise they are too overgrown. Dia asks why they should be thinned out. Isaac explains that in fact, herbs are similar to weeds, and they will multiply equally and crush other plants. Dia admits that she did not know that useful herbs can also be harmful. She asks what he will do with all the herbs he has picked. He explains that he will ask in the kitchen if they need them, and what remains will be given to his mother. They can be used as a seasoning for meat and brew tea from them. Dia is surprised. She couldn't think that weeds make tea and condiments. But she shouts again that he should apologize, not talk about all sorts of things. He clarifies what he should apologize for, perhaps because he said that she was behaving terribly. It confirms his guess. He asks Dia what if the king suddenly started a war and attacked the neighbors. How would she feel if her father was sent to fight? She says that this is some kind of tyranny. Such a king is a complete fool. If such a war were to break out, wouldn't a lot of innocent people suffer? She would never forgive a king who forced her father to fight at the risk of his life. Isaac says that she answers everything correctly and asks if she sees any similarities. It's terrible how she attacked the maid. For commoners, having a job is a matter of survival, so even if she is from a noble family, one must have a good reason to condemn a maidservant to death like she did. The girl thinks it over. Isaac asks if she even knows the maid's name. Dia says she doesn't know. He asks if she knows what her talent is, because that maid is the best at making tea. If she fired her, she wouldn't be able to enjoy the delicious tea anymore. And wouldn't that be a loss to her? And that, in turn, doesn't mean that she should pay a lot more attention to the people who serve her. This is not so difficult, but it gives a lot of advantages. He turns to her, asks her what's going on. Didn't she want him to acknowledge her? She answers in the affirmative. Isaac pats her on the head and tells her that now, before she does anything, she must make sure that she has an important reason for taking serious actions that affect others. She thinks how only he knows everything. She blushes, which is exactly what Isaac notices. She slaps him on the arm and asks who is to blame for this. Isaac was just communicating the way he usually does. Dia shouts that this is inappropriate. She's from a noble family, and he's just a commoner. He doesn't like being poked. Isaac asks to be called by his first name. He asks if it is correct that her name is Dia. She says that only family members can call her that. Her father gave her the beautiful name Lydia. Isaac says that then, perhaps, he will call Lidoc or Lydia, but then admits that this does not suit her at all. The girl agrees that this is absolutely not suitable. Isaac says he will call her Milady then. Dia corrects what is correct to say to Milady. She tells Isaac that he's just like a teacher, but he doesn't look much older than her. He thinks the problem is that Milady is acting like a child. If she had asked the Duke or anyone else in her family, he was sure they would have agreed. She says she can't ask them that. She reports that she can't behave irresponsibly and carelessly because she is afraid that she will be rejected. Isaac asks why. Can't she just talk to her father? He thinks the Duke would be happy. Dia asks how he knows this. Isaac says that's true and asks her to believe him, but she should notice such things herself and not wait for someone to tell her. There are a lot of people around her. She's the daughter of a duke, and she should be able to notice their features, traits, and moods. But maybe she can't, because she grew up in a very loving family. He asks her not to fire people for every little thing anymore. She shouts that's it, she won't do it again. She says she hopes it's not too late to apologize to the maid. Isaac should ask her name before apologizing. Dia pouted. She doesn't say anything, but then says that she understands and demands that Isaac now take back what he said about her terrible temper. He is silent for a long time, and then says that he was unnecessarily harsh, and although he was motivated by good intentions, it was too rude. He says that Milady is really wonderful, but when she smiles, she becomes much, much nicer. She blushes again. He asks if she's okay. The girl replies that everything is fine. She reaches out and feels some crumbs in her hair. She's surprised there's dirt in her hair. Isaac explains that this is fertilizer. He accidentally patted her head without removing his work gloves. She screams very loudly. It's been a hectic day, and all because of that boy. But somehow she doesn't want this day to end. And when she returns to the manor, she wants to know the name of that maid and apologize. And only then get rid of the dirt in your hair. The first spring, after he became an apprentice, the Duke hugs him and thanks him. The butler asks him to stay for a second. He warns that his lordship may get dirty. Isaac says that, to be honest, he doesn't think he did anything worth thanking him for. He doesn't understand what he's done. The Duke explains that she has become so lovely. He replies that she was always the best, but now she's even nicer. Isaac asks what he has to do with it. The Duke explains that since he scolded her, Dia sees him off every morning, and his wife Via noticed that Dia began to devote time to Flora, her younger sister. Every day they all get together at least once at the same table, and now he has a job to argue with, and he returns home as if for a holiday. Isaac says it's Dia doing her best. The Duke does not agree with him. He believes that it was Isaac who caused these changes. He says that a bird sang to him, that they have been constantly communicating since that day. She comes in every few days for one reason or another and tells him everything, and he listens and works. She told me, for example, that she had made up with her maid Catherine, and that her little sister Flora was terribly tiny and cute. The Duke smiles and says that he thinks Dia has become closer to them, thanks to having a friend of her own age. He asks him to try and continue to get along with her. The Duke shakes his hand, and Isaac agrees. The Duke says he won't interfere with his work anymore. Isaac waves after him and apologizes for dirtying it. and wonders when he's become such a sycophant. His father demands that he go back to work. At work, the father becomes the boss, so he tries to behave professionally. Since he is only an apprentice, he works as a bring, serve, and do not disturb, but he can watch his father tending the garden from the very first row. When he was very young, his father showed him the yard for walking, which he created. It was akin to some kind of magic when the planted flowers bloomed for the holiday. So much so that he was surprised to learn that his father wasn't a wizard at all. Yes, magic does exist in this world. People who can control the flow of magic are called magicians. It is extremely rare for commoners to use magic, so it is usually the aristocrats who possess magic abilities. His father has a slight aptitude for earth magic, which helps him learn the properties of soil, but he doesn't use magic. Gardening requires knowledge and skills, not magical abilities, so he doesn't use magic when working. In his previous life, thinking about magic was so tempting, but now, to be honest, it's not that cool. Especially after magic in computer games, it feels as if you are surrounded by high-frequency radio waves. Isaac waters the plants and wonders what kind of magic Melody is prone to, judging by her bright red dresses and her arrogant personality. Yeon thinks what a terrible image she has. Dia reappears the garden, calling out to him. He asks what happened today. Dia reports that it looks like she took after her mother. She had inherited her aptitude for magic. Normally, people are determined to have magical abilities around the age of 5, so it seems like she just found out about it. He says it's wonderful and asks her what she has a penchant for. She says it's lightning. Isaac thinks that this is exactly what he has a weakness for, so now she definitely can't be angered. Dia says that it is, alas, practically impossible to use. Unlike her mother, she has all her hair curled at once. Isaac says that she can now use magic to power up the machines in the factories. She asks if he is really immortal, which offers her to work in a factory. He laughs and says that he thinks it could be a backup generator. Dia gets angry, radiating an electric charge. Isaac apologizes, says he didn't think it through, because her lightning bolts are creepy to him. She must be hanging around just because he's the only one her age. His little sister was always bothering him, too. He tells Dee that she always dresses so brightly. He's talking about her dress. It's pink and has lace ribbons. It's not just bright, this dress is eye-catching. Dia explains that this dress protects her. She belongs to the highest aristocracy, but because of her age, she is not able to respond to those who hate and despise her. This dress helps her stand out and stand out from the crowd. In other words, it helps her feel stronger. This is childish thinking. He also once wore red for the same reasons. Isaac asks her again if that's true, and it's not really her style at all. She thinks about it. He asks her what she would like to wear herself. Dia reflects, and then replies that she would like to dress in softer colors, like her mother. I'd like to try, but I can't. Isaac says she's just so worried about maintaining her status, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter how she dresses. She asks why he is so confident. Isaac says so because she's beautiful. Dia blushed again. Isaac noticed that. He says that she is always beautiful, frank, honest, and confident, and what does it really matter what others will say? She asks Isaac why he is like this, and what is wrong with him at all. She is embarrassed, and Isaac says that enough of this is enough, and he hopes to see her in her new form soon. Like he'd said before, it wasn't for her. A few days later, Melody put on a cherry blossom dress for the first time and came to visit him. After spring, the rainy season came. Isaac saw him working in the garden. The boy notices that it looks like it's starting to rain. Due to his predisposition to water magic, he can sense the approach of rain. He's a little worried. It looks like there's going to be a big thunderstorm. My father says they probably won't get home soon. When the storm broke, they, the gardeners, took shelter in a small outbuilding. If something happened to the garden, they would be able to do something immediately. He says if so, then he should let Mom know that they will be staying overnight. He clasps his hands and creates a pigeon. This is a sample of the simplest wind magic. It will dissipate after arriving at the destination, but it will last long enough to add the message. In this world, He is not limited to the elements that he has a penchant for, but it is still much easier to use it. For balance, he practices not only in water, but also in other elements, so he is able to use wind magic. It can even elude others. For an atom game that even his sister could play, it wasn't easy to figure it out. Here the RPG component is spelled out in detail. Even for growing grass, there is a skill. When he was playing, he wasn't very interested in the details, so he forgot almost everything. Dia calls out to him. He turns around and asks her to be careful, because leaves and branches are falling from the trees. She asks what they are doing. Isaac explains that they cut branches so that the trees don't lean to one side. She asks if these branches can be used as firewood. Isaac says it's impossible. He says it's going to rain again soon. Dia asks how he knows. Isaac explains that he has a predisposition to water. He asks if he didn't tell her about it. She says it's the first time she's ever heard of it. Isaac tells her that there are more important things to do and that she should hurry inside or she'll get wet. And there's something else he has to tell her. She listens to him carefully, and he tells her that they are staying in the annex today. Since the rain will stop, she will be able to find him there. Dia is surprised. She asks if she understood correctly that he will be here after sunset. He says that yes, there is enough work. Dia smiles and declares that she will send someone to pick him up after dinner. She leaves and promises to see you again. Isaac wonders if Melody is getting a little too excited. For a second, he even thought she was in trouble. It seems that this will be the first time he will see her family. He should clean himself up, wash his face, change into something decent, but first he needs to pack something for dinner. They'll have to cook for themselves. Their mom does the chores around the house. Dad does all the work that requires physical strength, and he helps Mom as much as possible. It wasn't that Dad didn't know how to cook, but since he'd learned from Mom, he was clearly a better cook. Alas, only Dad can handle the hard work. He told his mother that when he was older, he would help her carry weights. She said she couldn't wait, so you need to work and help in any way you can. In his previous life, he was just an ordinary student, helping his parents at the family restaurant, looking for a normal job, eating normal food, working part-time to save some money, and didn't go to the best university because he didn't always try his best at school. Most of all, he regrets his complacent complacency. And even though he died in an accident, the truth is that when he was looking for a job, he was diagnosed with cancer. He was ordered to undergo a medical examination. He was found to have a thermal stage and was told that he had 3 months left. He became desperate, not knowing how to tell his family and friends. He didn't even notice the rain, much less the sudden departure of a car. He died 3 months earlier than he should have. To be honest, he had always respected his stubborn father, who worked hard all his life. So he decided that it would be easier for him to take the simple path and inherit the restaurant. From the very beginning, it had an alternate airfield. It was only after his death that he realized how insignificant he was compared to his father. After being reborn, he was determined to live in a way that he had nothing to regret. No matter what others think, he will be proud of what he does. The memories of his past life helped him decide everything for himself. His father climbs down the stairs, ruffles his hair, hugs him and tells him to go faster. The thunder is already rumbling. He puts him on his shoulders and carries him home. A strong wind is blowing. Dad runs quickly through the garden. Isaac is thrilled. He tells his father that he completely forgot and asks him to stop by the kitchen. Isaac hugs his father and thanks him for everything. My father smiles happily. He runs even faster. They approach the annex. Isaac wonders if the gardener's annex is really like this. It's much more beautiful than their house. He had heard that it had been built in the Duke's grandfather's time, so he had expected to see a dilapidated shack, and now he was shocked. He almost forgot. He would have liked to rest. He had promised Melody that he would visit her. He tells his father that he can take a bath first, and he also has some work to do. It's starting to rain outside. He and his father have dinner, then Isaac goes to take a bath. He hears someone knocking on the door. My father opens the door and sees the butler standing there under an umbrella. He says that the lady is expecting Isaac. Isaac shouts happily that he's on his way. He drapes a towel over his head. His father wipes his hair with a towel and advises him to find a raincoat. He finds a raincoat and puts it on Isaac. He thanks his father and goes to the palace. He is sitting in the hall on a large sofa, where he was asked to wait until the lady was called. He feels uneasy. He wonders if they're so polite to all the commoners. He can't imagine what servants like his lordship's butler or Milady's personal maid think. Dia enters the room with her maid Katerina. She thanks Isaac for waiting. Dia introduces him to Fraulein Katerina. He bows and apologizes for his ignorance. Dia introduces the boy to her, saying that he is Isaac Baumgartner, the gardener's apprentice. The maid says her name is Katrina, and she serves Mistress Lydia. Isaac is pleased to meet her. The girl says that he can just call her Katrina. Isaac tells her that he feels lucky to be able to drink the tea she made. Milady has always praised her tea so much that he really wants to taste it. Dia is outraged. She demands that he doesn't talk nonsense. Isaac asks her not to be embarrassed, because she often talks about Fraulein Katrina, that she makes tea from some unusual leaves, that she is no longer afraid of her and has begun to smile at her. Dia asks why he told her that and taps Isaac on the shoulder. He asks if she doesn't like Katrina. Dia asks him to be quiet. Catherine, watching them, giggles, says they look like great friends. Dia declares that she absolutely does not care. Isaac thinks about how it doesn't look like she's angry to see Katrina smile. As always, she has everything written on her face. Dia asks what's wrong with his hair. He explains that his father tried to wipe them dry after the bath. Dia approves that he cares about his appearance, but his efforts are clearly enough. He tries to justify himself, says that he could not make her wait. Dia declares that there are no buts and asks Katerina to bring her a comb as soon as she makes tea, and then she can be free. She obeys. She brings a comb. Isaac drinks his tea while Dee brushes his hair. He asks if her tea will get cold. She replies that Katerina's tea is wonderful even when it's cold. After she combed it, she says it's much better this way. He asks her what she brought with her. She remembers and explains that she wanted to show him her favorite book. This is a picture book about dragons. She asks if she is too childish for him. Isaac says no way, he just can't read. The level of literacy among ordinary people clearly leaves much to be desired. He can barely make out a few words. There is silence. He says if that's the case, then she should read to him. He doesn't like it when Eddie is sad or sorry about something that he doesn't care about at all. They sit down together. She reads him a book. He says he would be happy if she taught him the letters. Dia says that if you can't do anything, you'll have to teach. When Milady smiles, she's just lovely. It's raining outside. Milady comes to the gardener's shed by herself. Isaac asks her what she's doing here. She explains that he himself said that when it rains, he doesn't have a job, so she will teach him. Isaac thinks she probably doesn't have anything to do either. He shows them to their room and asks them to wait, and if she is curious, she can look around. After a while, he comes back, brings mugs of tea, and apologizes for keeping me waiting. Dia asks if he really thinks that he can behave so shamelessly. While they wait, Dia fidgets and spins around. She's curious about everything. Curiosity just devours her. Isaac says he doesn't know if they'll like it, but he asks them to try this herbal tea. It is made from herbs that grow in the kitchen. This is his mom's special recipe. The girls try the tea and say that it is very tasty. Isaac declares that his mother will be happy. Dia believes that even though these herbs are good, but the main thing is the brewing method, and he will accept the praise properly. Isaac is flattered, but Dia says that Katerina's tea is certainly much better. Isaac asks you not to compare, because Katrina is still a master. And now she's offering to go back to their sheep. She pulls an envelope out of her sleeve and asks him to open it right now. He opens it and sees that it Advent alphabet. The first sheet has uppercase letters, and the second has lowercase letters. As expected of Milady, in this world, paper and writing supplies are luxuries, but a commoner like him can't even dream of them. He notices that her handwriting is excellent. She says it goes without saying. He asks Dia to teach him how to write letters correctly. She says that she did not even think to bring paper and what to write with. Isaac says it's okay. He's got something. He's gonna bring it over. He brings a tray for seedlings, with earth, a stick and a scraper, says that everything is ready. Dia asks what he is going to do about it. He shows that you can write on the ground with a stick and then erase it with a scraper, and it works. Dia is surprised that he's actually so smart. Katrina nods, too. He thinks it's some kind of overreaction. Isaac thinks that maybe only a commoner would think of such a thing. They obviously never drew circles on the ground with a rock to play hopscotch. Lydia should have been a normal child. She could have come to him and played with other children of her own age. She would have been happy, and she would have loved it. But it's too dangerous to walk in working-class areas. Even if you try to uncover its origin, there is a considerable risk that it will be kidnapped. I wish it was so cool that it wouldn't protect you from all the dangers. Dia asks what's wrong with him. What was he dreaming about? He replies that nothing. Everything is fine and asks to take care of him and calls her a teacher. She says that this is the right attitude, so she will try to teach him how to do it. She suggests we try writing this. He agrees. He sees that Dia is leaning down. Isaac offers her some sleep. She refuses and says that she is a teacher, so she can't sleep. She finishes her tea, falls on Katrina's shoulder, and falls asleep. She puts it on the sofa. He and Katrina laugh. Katrina thanks him for that time. Isaac says he should have been the one to apologize. His unwise behavior put them all in an even worse position. Catherine says she was thrilled that a stranger stood up for her. All of Lydia's anger was directed at him. Isaac remembers that not only her, but also her dad had a hand in it. Catherine laughs. She says that she is not as capable as her sisters and cannot be an heiress like her brother. She would cause a lot of inconvenience to her family if she lost her job. Lydia said that head of the Ligard family is a baronet, so they don't even have their own land. For daughters of such families, it is quite normal to strengthen family ties by working for higher-ranking nobles or entering into political marriages. Because of Freckles, Katerina's father made her homeless and sent her to work. What would have happened to her if she'd been fired? Katrina says she couldn't be happier than she is now, serving Mistress Lydia. Now that he looks at them, they look like sisters. That incident, of course, is a thing of the past. He says it looks like a daisy. When she laughs, it's like a daisy has bloomed. To say that no one will take her as a wife, her father clearly has a problem with his eyes. She says that's not the case, but Isaac thinks it should be dealt with. Lydia mutters something in her sleep, and Isaac notices that Milady is very fast asleep. Catherine explains that the lady stayed up late last night. Isaac asks why she wasn't sleeping. Catherine explains that she wrote and Lydia did not give up until she was satisfied with the result. Isaac hides the papers and says that he will keep them. His father calls out to him, calls him Ike. He enters the room and says it's about time. Lydia wakes up. Katrina wishes her a good morning, and she's half asleep, wondering why they called him Ike. He says it's his nickname, and she can call him that, too. Lydia agrees. Then he remembers something and says it's wrong. Isaac asks her what she's talking about. What's wrong? She replies that her behavior is not befitting a young daughter of a duke. Isaac reminds her that she used to smile very sweetly. She demands that he forget about it. The duke writes a letter and tells about his daughter that she began to see him off with a smile on her face. It is very cute. Her reserved, and even somewhat shy, demeanor was also quite endearing. The butler addresses him with all due respect, but asks if he should work more with his hands than with his tongue. The duke jokes that his hands are not for boredom, but the butler points out that if he had been even a little silent, he would have been able to work faster. The duke says that he will die if he does not share the love of his family with the whole world. Did the butler want him dead? At first, he had insisted that the duke not talk about it outside the mansion, and now he had to restrain himself at work. The butler says that his adoration knows no bounds. The duke agrees because his love for his family is boundless. Butler Hines frowned when he heard this. He asks the duke to consider his position and the opinion of others. Although he is a loyal husband, many women try to lure him into their net to no avail, and the duke always makes a decision calmly, with a slight smile. He is known as the Ice Duke. There is another reason for this nickname. He has a rare predisposition to two elements. Water and wind allow you to use ice magic. His magic abilities are beyond human capabilities. With the same talents, at the age of 24, he became the head of 3 ministries: magic, health, and pharmacy. This earned him the nickname Triglav. Despite his high position, there are no dirty rumors about the Duke. This is an indicator of their competence. Harold's entourage no idea that the Ice Duke simply melts into the family circle. As long as he has his family, he doesn't care much about anyone's opinion. Hines says that when Mrs. Lydia heard how hard he was working, she was filled with delight and respect. The Duke exclaims that he will try his best for the sake of his precious daughter. The Duke laughs and says that he has a great assistant. Hines says he's his butler now. There's a knock on the door. Dia asks if her father is here. The Duke says it was an angel who came down from heaven in the form of his Lydia. Hines opens the door and says this is too much. The Duke believes that he simply voiced the truth. He asks what happened, why she came to him when he was working. She says she heard that he doesn't have much to do today, so she thought they could visit Flora together. Only then does she ask if she's interrupting. The Duke thinks it's a great offer. He will be happy to spend time with his princesses, especially since he was already done with the letters. The butler know when he made it. They walk through the castle. The Duke apologizes that she is usually busy all day. Lydia says she's glad he's working so hard. The Duke thinks he's happy now that he's done a great job, and he thinks about how Delisu works with Isaac. Lydia carries a book and says it's for Flora. Her father asks her again if it's too early for her. Lydia replies that this is different, she will show him later. He says that he will look forward to it. They enter the room with Flora and Mama. The Duke compliments his wife, saying that she is as beautiful as ever, like a goddess. Lydia looks out from behind him and asks if he can see her. Seeing Gerald and Lydia, Via is overjoyed. She's sure Flora will be happy to see them. The Duke apologizes for being late. Via grins and says that she is sure that there is an urgent job again. He says that he had to write a couple of letters. My wife notices that this is so. It is also very popular. The Duke explains that being in demand at work doesn't make him happy. The only thing he wants is to be in demand for her. Via smiles. At this time, Lydia plays Flora and says that Flora is so lovely. They spend time together. The Duke suggests getting out for a walk as soon as the rain subsides. Lydia happily shouts that if they go, she knows a great place to admire hydrangeas. My father agrees. He says she's done a good job of exploring their garden. She admits that recently she often went for a walk there. The herald asks Via if he ever told her about Isaac. Lydia screams a warning. Via explains that she heard from the maids that she was seen with a young gardener's apprentice, and she was saddened that Dia herself did not mention it. Dia says it's because she was afraid that her mother would be upset because he is a commoner. Via asks her if he is a close friend of hers. She thinks for a moment, then nods. Via says that she would like to meet him. Lydia feels both joy and relief. She promises that if Ike reveals any rudeness, she will personally scold him. Mom notices that they are already close enough to call each other by their nickname. Lydia screams that she all wrong. The herald asks if he should start getting jealous of Isaac, and Mom says he must be a great boy if she's so worried. Dia shouts that they are wrong. Mom and Dad laugh. She's talking to her father, and while we're on the subject, there's something she'd like to say. She holds out the book, says what she wanted to ask. Isaac suggested that they write each other letters in a diary. She knows that her father is very busy, but it will also be a good penmanship practice for her. She asks if this is a bad idea. The herald thanks God for sending him such a daughter. He says he is thrilled and they will start today. The butler takes in the diary and says that he will look after it. The herald is outraged. He says it's his and Dia's. Hines can't take him. But he explains that he will return it when they have free time. Via agrees with him because a herald has many responsibilities. Hans leaves and takes the diary away. Lydia sobs and calls her father to go because they wanted to go for a walk. He agrees. Isaac is in the kitchen. He looks at the cooks and asks how he can become as strong as they are. One of the cooks asks what happened, if he was beaten up. Isaac replies that he didn't fight anyone. Then the cook assumes that it's all because of the girl. I wonder which one. The second person assumes that this is a young lady, and another of the cooks advises him to roll up his lip right away. Isaac denies it, and the cook suggests that maybe it's a childhood friend who lives next door. Isaac thinks they can talk what they want, as if either of them has a girlfriend. He wants to be strong. One of the cooks laughs, slaps him on the back, and says that the chick has barely flown, but is already aiming for eagles. Someone enters the room and asks what they are all doing here. This is Heinz. One of the cooks says Heinz is on time. This boy wants to become strong, so he asks him to take care of him. He realizes that this is the Duke's butler. The cook explains that Herr Heinz is just great. He began serving on the recommendation of the Grand Circuit of the Order of Chivalry. The butler asks him not to flatter him, and Isaac wonders if the butler really needs to be so strong. Is he a battle butler like in the manga? He suggests we talk somewhere else and leaves. He introduces himself and says his name is Heinz von Dries. The boy replies that he is Isaac Baumgartner. The butler says he knows. He asks why he needs to get stronger. Isaac replies that he wants to protect Milady. The butler is surprised. He asks Isaac to imagine that he and Lady Lydia have stumbled upon a group of villains. What are its actions? Isaac replies that he will grab her and run away. The butler asks if he was alone. Isaac replies that he would have run away. The butler asks why. He says they might be armed and they might get help, but without enough information about the enemy, a kid like him can't do much. So he will run away and hide or run to a safe place. Even if he is alone, he wants to protect the people close to him. The butler sighs, says it's good, and informs him that for a few hours, once or twice a week, he will practice martial arts with him. They will coordinate this time with Denny's. The job gives him some load, so given his age, that's why he can do 50 push-ups, 50 squats, 50 abs, and 5 kilometers every day. Isaac is happy. After a while, he sits in the garden and thinks about what he really wants to eat. Ever since he started training, the feeling of hunger has become constant between jobs. Before he starts eating, he puts his hands together and says a word itadakimasu. He is approached by Lydia, who asks what this means. After eating, Isaac says another word, gachisu-sama. Lydia asks what he said before and after the meal. Isaac explains that it's kind of like a thank you for the food. She asks again what kind of gratitude it is. Thanks to the king, he thanks him for this food and thanks nature and people. Before eating, it is customary to thank the king, but they can also eat thanks to people and nature. She says that he thinks in some unusual way. Isaac explains that everyone at home is used to it, but this is a habit from the past. Lydia thinks this is essentially true and a good idea. Isaac smiles. Lydia asks why he's smiling. He says he just likes how carefully she listens to him. Then he asks if she came just like that or if something happened. Lydia informs him that his mother wants him to come to tea at 3, so it should be ready. After that, she runs away. Isaac wonders what he's preparing for, a reprimand, or what it's like. Isaac comes to Lydia's house. They're sitting at the table, drinking tea. Lydia's mother holds little Flora in her arms and smiles. Isaac doesn't understand what's going on here at all. Shouldn't the tea party atmosphere be more relaxed? He feels awkward. Milady probably looks a little embarrassed. Isaac thanks me for the invitation. He is simply fascinated by the opportunity to taste the famous black tea with infused fruit for the first time. Lydia's mom, I'm glad he liked it. She tells him not to hesitate to ask for another cup and hopes to see him here again. It was not permissible for Daya not to introduce them for a long time, and she wanted to be as much his friend as the herald. It wasn't fair that only he knew. Isaac says he will be happy to visit them. Mom is happy. She explains that it was thanks to him that Daya started wearing dresses whose colors are much more consistent with hers. Now he noticed that the colors were matching. Eddie was wearing a forget-me-nots dress, and the Duchess was wearing purple. I remember when he first met Milady, she was wearing bright red. Mom says that even though Dia was stubborn, it was him who seduced her. Dia shouts that no one has seduced her. Isaac turns to Dee's mom, calling her Mistress Octavia, but Dee asks if it's not hard to say that all the time and suggests that they just call her Via. Isaac admits that he doesn't really like long names and it's easier to use abbreviated ones, but he notices that Milady is staring at him with an unkind look. She didn't seem to want a commoner like him to address her mother so familiarly. Octavia says if she is jealous, then why not call her Dia to him? She claims that she is not jealous. Then my mother says that if so, then just let her call her in a friendly way, like a playful mother cat teasing an aggressive kitten. Although Milady will not be happy, it seems that he needs to call the Duchess something simpler, but he does not want to upset Milady. He suggests to Mom that he will call her Okusen. Lydia screams at him not to call her mom that weird nickname. Mom laughs and says she likes it. Milady was flushed again. Isaac asks her to pass him the cup. She says he already has his own cup. Isaac insists and asks if it's really that hard for her. She passes him the cup, and he takes it and thanks her. He holds the cup in his hands for a few minutes before handing it back to Dia. She takes a sip and feels that the tea is cold. She asks how he did it, because the tea was hot. Isaac explains that he just cooled it down with magic, and now asks Dee how she likes iced tea, if it really refreshes. She asks him again how he used magic without making a sound, especially ice magic. Does he have a penchant for 2 elements? Isaac denies it. It's just that he can use other elements besides the main one, just a little bit. After the water, all the remaining mana went to the wind. Via says this is the first time she's seen someone use magic outside of their element affinity. Dia asks, but why so silently? How was he able to use magic without naming it? Isaac explains that he just asked the spirits to help. Dia asks how it can help, instead of summoning them using her power. Isaac replies that he doesn't have enough power to summon them. He can't even see them. Lydia explains that the status of aristocrats depends on how much mana they can use to summon and use spirits, so the idea that spirits can just help is unthinkable. Isaac says he didn't know, but privately thinks there are a lot of problems with this aristocracy. He asks if he's weird. Lydia says that's not the right word. Isaac thinks Lydia is fine, but Okusen thinks so too. Mom and Dad didn't say anything like that, so he didn't think it was strange. Lydia is curious. She asks how he was able to get the spirits to help. Isaac says they're used to it. Lydia does not understand how it is used. Isaac explains that this requires respect. Spirits like to be shown respect. Lydia wonders if that's all. Isaac adds that there should still be offerings. Lydia asks how it is. Isaac offers her a look. When he was very young, his mother told him about perfume. He couldn't see them, but when he tried to find out if the spirits ate sweets, he found that they did. There are 3 cookies on the plate. Isaac closes his eyes, puts his hands together, and when he opens them, he sees that the cookie is bitten in 2. Lydia and Via are surprised. He asks if they saw the spirits and says it was so funny that sharing sweets with the spirits became a habit. Lydia says it's delicious. Isaac suggests that she try it herself. She just has to think about the fact that she's offering it to them. They'll understand. Lydia agrees. She closes her eyes, puts her hands together, bows, opens her eyes, and sees the little spirit eating her cookies. Lydia is amazed that she did it. Mom laughs and says that it will be creepy if the perfume gets fat, so it's better not to abuse it. They finish their tea. My mother admits that she is really glad that Isaac is here. Isaac asks if he can hold little Flora. Mom agrees, saying that she's been holding it since the tea party started, so she can't feel her hands anymore. She thanks Isaac and hands him Flora. Lydia shouts that she wants to hold her too. Isaac says she should wait until Flora learns to hold her own head. Lydia doesn't think it's fair. She asks if he has a brother or sister, because it seems that he is not used to it. He says he is alone in the family. In neighboring families, both parents usually work, so the children are left to him. Neighbors often ask you to look after the kids. Via laughs and says that he will make a great son-in-law. Isaac doesn't understand what she's talking about, and Via laughs and asks him not to pay attention to her, but to help himself. He thanks you. He sees that in front of him is an empty plate, and behind it are cookies, and in his hands is Milady's younger sister. He knows he's stuck. He looks at Dia questioningly. Lydia asks him what he wants from her, and he asks for a cookie. Lydia blushes. Isaac realizes that he's so hungry that he said something really stupid. He apologizes and says it's because of Flora. Lydia hands him a cookie. He opens his mouth and Lydia puts him a cookie. He takes a bite, eats it, and thanks Lydia. She hands him another one, and Isaac asks if it's okay. Lydia nods. He thanks her and eats a cookie. He thinks that next time he will need to bring something to thank him. He goes out on the street. He is recognized by children on the street. They ask if he has been sent on an errand and offer to play. He says he's on a break. One of the girls asks what he just did. Isaac explains that he did strength training, fulfilled the standard of Heinz's teacher. Someone grins and says that he is a bony infirmity. Isaac explains that he's just getting started. The girl asks why he suddenly started training. Isaac doesn't know what the big deal is. The girl reports that she can smell the girl. This is a working class milyuzga. The only girl, Maria, a 4-year-old, shouldn't say that. They start laughing, saying it's true, right on the mark. Isaac is a womanizer. He asks again what of it. He asks the boys if they also want to protect their mothers and sisters, so what's wrong with getting stronger for a woman? One of the working class boys, Johan, says he's going to get stronger for his mom, and Paul says he's going to clean out his sister's boyfriend. Johan suggests playing nights to get stronger. Isaac says he can't. His mom has a lot of things to do for him. Maria is sorry, but she thinks she will pretend that she let herself be cheated, but only this time. Isaac asks her what she's talking about. He comes home and asks his mother what else she has asked him to buy, if he can have more flour and eggs. My mother asks me why. Isaac says he wants to make cookies and take them to Melody. They treated him to tea with sweets, so he wants to thank them, to express his gratitude to Melody. My mother is surprised that he is talking about the Duke's daughter. She asks what kind of girl she is. Isaac explains that her mood is constantly changing, and she is also very sweet and adorable. Mom notices that he is clearly his father's son, asks if she knows why she married him. He doesn't say much, but he always says sweet and lovely and makes purchases. That's how she fell in love. That's why he asks Isaac to be careful. He asks again why. Mom explains that he should be careful not to say anything that might be misunderstood. Isaac says he always says what he thinks. My mother thinks that's the trouble. She sends him shopping and lets him take some eggs and flour. He went. He decides to take the eggs later. He sees the potatoes and hears people discussing something. They're looking at something, some kind of glow. People can't understand what it is that shines there. Isaac pushes forward and sees a glint of something too. There's a boy standing there. Blonde hair is rare among commoners, so he's probably an aristocrat. Isaac asks the boy if he's lost. He doesn't say anything. Isaac asks him again if he's lost. He says nothing, and then says that he came out more than intentionally. He doesn't know how to get back, so he assumes he's lost. Everything flashes and sparkles around him. Isaac says something must be wrong. It's so bright that it hurts to look at it. The boy apologizes. Isaac takes off his cap and pulls it over his head. He says he has nothing to apologize for. He just doesn't like something so out of the ordinary, but in a cap it will be much better for him. He takes him by the hand and invites him to come with him. The boy asks where he is taking him. Isaac explains that they can find someone on the main street who knows him, because he was going to meet someone. He says that in fact he was told that if something happens, you need to go to the square with the fountain. Isaac suggests we go there. He walks forward and pulls the boy with him. The boy asks again how he realized that he was a noble. Isaac explains that it's obvious from his clothes. But the boy says that he bought the simplest one, where there are no frills, no decorations. Isaac tells him to wear a wig because commoners rarely have blonde hair. He says that he will be more prudent next time. Isaac offers to lend him his own clothes next time, so just let him ask for it. The boy asks if this is true, and says that he can't get in touch with the commoners in any way. Isaac reveals that his name is Isaac. His father, Denny's Baumgartner, is a gardener. He will be able to find it by pretending to have an order for it. The boy remembers that he knows the Duke's gardener. He tells Isaac that he is very smart. Isaac asks you not to look at him, because he's too dazzling. The boy reports that it's the first time he's been in contact with someone like him, and he has a lot of new experiences. Isaac says he's supposed to be angry, and anyway, he's kind of weird, too nice, and Milady would be yelling at him by now. The boy explains that his father taught him that you need to look at the world from different points of view. He said that you need to keep your mind open to anything new. So he came here today to observe the lives of commoners. He remembers Lydia saying that she may belong to the upper aristocracy, but because of her age, she is not able to respond to those who hate and despise her. He tells the boy that only adults are around him, which is why children from noble families can't behave like children. The boy asks again how he knows this. Isaac says he sounds too grown up. He could use making friends and playing more. The boy thinks about the word friends. He squeezes Isaac's hand and asks if he will be his friend. Isaac grins and declines. Not only is he simply blinded, he is repelled by other things. He does not like the way he looks, but also thinks like an adult, believing that this is necessary. The boy laughs and says that he didn't even think that he would be turned away so violently because of his appearance. Isaac notices that he is actually very strange. The boy laughs again and says that no one would talk about it, and then remembers that he didn't introduce himself. He takes off his cap and says his name is Leo. Isaac claims that he's too bright and that it makes him angry. He pulls it forward with him. They run down the street and suddenly see hydrangeas blooming, but something is wrong with them. White hydrangeas are very rare. This is the first time he's seen them. In this country, hydrangeas change color depending on their proximity to magical elements. They are usually orange due to the earth element or blue due to the water element. An old man who runs a flower shop said that the ministry assigned him to work on a study of the color dependence of hydrangeas to increase the variability. Leo says that he realized that they are rare, but what is the element that makes them white? Isaac doesn't have time to finish. The door opens and a girl looks out, asking what business they have with her family. He sees Leo's startled face as he looks at the girl, and he doesn't understand why the kid is so stunned. She's very cute, but he doesn't seem to have escaped from the circus of freaks either. Isaac apologizes, saying that he is a gardener's apprentice, and these flowers are very rare. The girl asks again why they are rare. Isaac asks if they have white hydrangeas every year and who takes care of them. The girl says she is. Isaac feels like he's reloaded her with his questions. He feels like a knob idol of a small animal. He pats the girl's head and explains that it's just the first time he's seen white hydrangeas, so he wanted to know how they were raised like this. They are very beautiful. The girl shakes with fear and then says that she just watered them and that's all. Isaac is surprised, and then she turns out to be much more amazing. He asks Leo what's going on with him. Isaac slaps him on the back of the head and asks what's wrong with him. He says nothing, asks not to pay attention. Isaac thanks the girl for showing them these beautiful flowers and tells Leo to go. She bows and says she's always welcome. She waves after them. Isaac thinks it might be worth asking about her element, but Leo says there's no reason. This girl has a lot of magic power. Flowers react not to the soil, but to its own magic. This means that her magic is much stronger than a certain level. This is unusual for a commoner. Isaac asks her what her element is. Leo says he's never seen it before, but it's either the light or something else. A guy comes running around the corner. Leo recognizes Matthews, who is panting and shouting that he finally found them, where they were. He asks Leo who is with him. Leo says that this is his escort, asks Isaac's permission to let him introduce him. He says it's his brother. Isaac thinks they don't look alike at all. Matthews says that thanks to him, he found his little brother, who scared him to death. Isaac thinks they can't be brothers. Matthews offers to thank him. Isaac refuses, but he thinks it's a servant or a guard. He says he needs to finish his shopping, so he will go. He takes the cap off Leo's head and says it's his, puts it on himself, says bye to Leo, and leaves. Isaac waves after him and promises to see him again. He wonders if Leo is going to continue their acquaintance. He's too weird to get too close to. Anyway, he needed to buy some potatoes and eggs, and when he got home, he would make Milady some cookies. Lydia is in the kitchen, getting rejected by the cook. She asks why it's okay for Isaac. The cook says there's a difference between her and that kid. If he gets hurt a little, it doesn't matter. But if she gets hurt, he's afraid he'll have a hard time. Lydia says she understands. She goes out and closes the door behind her. And the cook thinks that the mistress has really changed since the schoolboy came. Lydia thinks about how if she can't make cookies, how is she going to pay him back? They meet in the evening. He hands her the bag and asks Melody to take it. She asks what it is. He reminds her of how she used to give him cookies at tea time. He made some homemade cookies as a thank you. They came out large, probably not very convenient to eat, but he would have been happy to know what they tasted like. She takes a bite of the cookie and says it's delicious. They are different, not like in pastry shops. It's amazing to her that he can even make such delicious food. He asks her if she liked it. She is silent and thinks that she will pay him back, no matter what it takes. She wonders what Isaac likes. All she knows about him is that he likes gardening. He values his father's opinion when he eats. He looks happy. He gets annoyed with all the shiny things, and that's all she doesn't really know. Isaac, don't tell me anything about yourself. He doesn't say anything at all until she asks. So it's his own fault that she doesn't know anything about him. She decides to beat everything she needs out of him. She goes to his garden. He asks his father if he can go with her. He pulls her along. Dia asks where they are going. He says she should just go. They'll see soon enough. He tightens his grip. Dee thinks hand is warmer and bigger than hers. They're almost there. There's not much left. They approach a thicket of bushes. Isaac calls for her to follow, telling her to keep up, but she can't imagine having to wade through this. She still climbs, although she thinks why she, a noble girl, should climb here. Isaac says it's just a little bit more, and she's almost there. There's something very bright shining there, so that she squeezed her eyes shut. He shows her some amazing fountain, says it's all his. Melody doesn't understand if the garden has always had this place. Isaac says that his grandfather and father practiced here when they were apprentices, and now his father has allowed him. A place where a generation of Baumgartners learned the art of gardening. There are so many things he wants to try, so he will buy seeds with the money he saves. Lydia asks again. It's okay that he told her all this. I guess I assumed it would be a secret. She says that pleading won't help. She asks to turn this place into a garden that she likes. Isaac asks her to please keep this a secret. He had already received so much from her. He thanks Melody and promises that it will be a great place. Isaac says it's the best birthday present he's ever received from his father. Lydia asks him when his birthday is. He replies that in May. Dia notices that it was also a month ago. She asks what he would like to receive as a gift. Isaac says he got so much from her. The letters she wrote in her own hand made him very happy. This is his treasure. Besides, he would always be happy when she smiled. Lydia smiles and wishes him a happy birthday. She's smiling at him right now. He thanks her. Lydia and Isaac are reading a book. Lydia says that he reads without any expression, and you need to put your heart into it. Even Katrina is better than him. He asks if she can read it herself. But Dia turns out that otherwise he will not learn anything. She shows them the book and says they'll read this one next. Isaac says he expects them to seriously continue reading. He was tired. He flips through the book and says that all her books are about princes. Lydia explains that this is because they remove curses and defeat evil spirits. It's terribly romantic. Isaac asks why they all have shiny hair. She explains that this is a feature of royalty. Isaac remembers that the Duke's hair also shone. Lydia explains that Grandma Papa was a queen, which is why she puts on so much airs. That's why the Duke is so radiant. As for her, her hair is much prettier than that sparkle, and it doesn't hurt her eyes so much. Isaac agrees to read it now. This time, he will try to put in more feelings. Lydia gets angry and tells him to read all his life until the end of the century, so monotonously. Katrina giggles and asks if it was just a curse. She informs Lydia that Mistress Octavia is calling for her. Lydia goes to her mother's room and asks what she wanted to talk to her about. Octavia informs her daughter that she has received an invitation. Isaac is pulling weeds, and it's hot outside, and he can't hide from them, and there's no end in sight. I wish he had an assistant. The estate is not divided by inheritance, which is why it is so huge. In the capital, they say that this is a real test for gardeners. Those who want to work are not particularly observed, so he is the only student. He thinks that maybe he can sing it to raise his spirits. In his previous life, his little sister used to make him sing karaoke with her. Lydia approaches him and tells him that the spirits really like the songs. Isaac asks if she can see them. Here he does not see them, but feels their presence. One of them is playing behind his head. Lydia confirms this. She asks him what he was humming just now. Is this a war song or an opera? Isaac says it's an anime song. Lydia asks what anime is. He says his sister taught him, so he's not really sure, but it's kind of like being chanted during a battle. Lydia asks him again which sister he's talking about, if he's not an only child. Isaac is shocked. He blurted it out without thinking. He says she's from a previous life, so she's like a sister to Isaac. Lydia notices that it turns out that he has such a person. Isaac can't tell if she's offended. He asks her what happened, what she wants to tell him. She takes out an envelope and says that she has received an invitation. My mother gave it to me today. This is an invitation to the Crown Prince's birthday ball. Isaac is surprised and wishes her luck. She finally had the chance to see the prince in his natural habitat. Ta says now is not the time for that. This will be her first public appearance, her debut at the Crown Prince's ball, and she doesn't even know how to dance properly. Isaac assures me that everything will be fine. She asks how everything can be all right. Isaac says she's just wonderful. Everything will be fine. She's the Duke's most precious daughter. Lydia is asked again if this is true and her parents will not be disappointed. Isaac says they'll be proud of her. Lydia asks again if everything is really going to be all right. He asks Lydia not to worry and remain herself. She asks if he really thinks so. He says there's nothing to worry about. It's just out of the ordinary. Dia says it's not a compliment. I'm not even used to seeing Lydia like this. She's so nervous. Isaac asks her to have fun there. Lydia grabs his hand and calls him to come with her. She must be really worried. Isaac reminds me that the Duke will be there. Lydia says it's better if he is with her. But Isaac refuses. He can't go because he's a commoner. She understands this, and he asks her to agree that he will look like a scarecrow in a decent outfit. Lydia giggles, apologizing for asking for the impossible. He asks her not to take it into her head and asks why she is so worried about everything. She says that due to her position, she will have the opportunity to dance with the Crown Prince. But her dance teacher has never been enthusiastic about her achievements. She is worried that she will be a bad partner, only 1 month left before the ball. Isaac asks her to relax and promises to prepare for it together. But she doesn't want her parents to know that she was hiding her failures from them. Isaac promises to keep the class a secret. He knows a great place. They will succeed. Lydia is surprised that they will be secretly practicing dancing. Isaac leads me to a place and asks me what about him. This is an abandoned summer pavilion. Lydia agrees. Here they can secretly practice dancing. The summer pavilion is located next to a detached building that is rarely used. It is not used as a pavilion because it is not the season. Isaac says they'll do a good job. She asks if he's trying to cheer her up. Then let him be her partner. Isaac admits that he can't dance. Lydia promises to teach him the basics. The best partner is someone of her own height. Isaac says it's not his idea, but for Lydia's sake, he agrees. They are engaged in combat training with Heinz. He says that's enough for today. Isaac thinks he's not even sweating because his sweat glands were removed along with his emotions. Heinz notices that his posture has improved. He asks what else he does. Isaac doesn't know what to say, then tells him that he started warming up for weight training. Heinz is surprised and asks him to continue in the same spirit. He and Millie now spend the time allotted for conversations on classes. He puts on an apron to avoid getting her clothes dirty. He was diligently learning the basics of the waltz. This is probably why his posture has improved. And then one day before the appointed time, he asks Lydia if he was able to help her. She replies that, of course, she usually did it herself, and with him she clearly began to dance better. Isaac is happy about that. Dia is nervous, and he says that about the class, it was very helpful, so he is grateful to her. Isaac says that he has prepared something for her as a reward, one thing for good luck. He gets her a present, since he can't go with her, so he offers to take this talisman. He cut a small rose in the greenhouse to make it, but the ribbon is cheap, so if she doesn't like it, then let her throw it away. Lydia says she would never throw it away, because it's so wonderful. She promises to do her best tomorrow. Isaac asks her not to worry too much, because she will be able to see the crown prince firsthand. Lydia promises that she will be fine. If anything, she will think about him and immediately relax as soon as she introduces him. Isaac says she's kind of condescending to him. Lydia tells him that she actually praises him in a way. He does not understand all these dances, mans, balls, and other rubbish that these nobles have in honor, but he hopes that the feelings that he put into the talisman will be able to support her and sincerely wishes that Lydia could dance with the prince the most wonderful dance at this ball. My father apologizes to Dia. Normally, they would have gone after tea, but that hasn't worked since Flora was born. Dia asks her father not to apologize. She is genuinely happy that she has a little sister. They go to the king. The carriage stops. The Duke offers his hand and asks his daughter to take his hand, while calling her a princess. Dia points out that it's not polite to say that in front of His Royal Highness. Her father agrees and suggests calling her his angel. They can hear the chatter behind them. People are discussing that this is Duke Ernest, the head of the 3 ministries. It is as beautiful as the rumor says. Someone asks who this young lady is. She looks like a cute doll. They walk into the palace, followed by mumbling voices. He notices that Dia isn't as nervous as he thought. He replies that she is very worried about making a mistake in front of the royals, but if he is with her, it calms her down. My father is proud. The girl squeezes his hand. Her father says they'll leave as soon as she wants them to, but he thinks they should leave now. Dia notices that they didn't even congratulate the prince. Her father sighs and says that he doesn't want her to meet him. Dia asks why. The Duke explains that he only saw him briefly, but judging by the conversations, he has an impeccable reputation. Despite his age, he is very intelligent and thinks seriously about people. If he continues like this, it is rumored that he will become the wisest king. Dia says he has heard that he has shining hair and eyes, but his inner world is just as wonderful. The Duke says it is, but he still doesn't want to go there. He notices a ribbon with a rose on it on her arm, and says she hasn't worn it before. Dee explains that this is a lucky charm. The Duke smiles and says she's cute, and Isaac knows what suits Dee best. She blushes. This is a very interesting application of magic. Using water magic to create the opposite of a dried flower. This is a very difficult and painstaking task. My father says it's an amazing piece of magic, and it might be worth asking how he did it. Dia asks why, and the Duke remarks that he seems to have been tactless. She has a wonderful friend. She agrees. They enter the hall. Someone calls out to the Duke and says he's here, too. This is Zinvarik. The herald asks him if he has also come with his daughter. He tells Dia that Zinvarik is a vice knight of the Royal Order of Chivalry. He says his name is Zinvarig von August. It's an honor for him to be introduced to such a lady. Dia says that her name is Lydia von Ernest, and she heard her father talking about his departure. Zinvarik laughs and says that it happened when they were under his care. Dia exchanges glances with his daughter, and he introduces his daughter Tortoise to them. The girl says that she is the eldest daughter of Marquis Augustus Tortoise, and it is an honor to meet the young lady of the Ernest Duchy. The Duke smiles and says that she is like a little rabbit and asks her not to be so nervous. Zenwerg demands that the Duke not seduce his daughter with this face. He says that he only seduces his wife. Dia tells Mr. Delis that this is the first time she has had the privilege of speaking to a young lady of her own age, and she wouldn't mind, but would like to be friends with her. Tordleys grabs her hand and tells her that she doesn't deserve such an honor to be with her. Zinvarik and Gerald look around the room. Apparently, there are an equal number of boys and girls here. If they were adults, it would look shabby. The herald says that he didn't bring Via just because Flora is too small. Zenvarik also informs that he is also here because Lisa wanted to see His Highness. Welcome music is playing. Everyone drops their idle chatter and bows respectfully. The first Princess Gertrude, the second Princess Germaine, and the third Prince Klaus, as well as King Traugott, appear in the hall. He asks the ladies and gentlemen to raise their hands, thanks them for attending his son's birthday ball, and asks them to enjoy the holiday. He has already taken too much attention from today's star, so without further ado, he introduces them to the hero of the occasion. A boy steps forward, radiating radiance in all directions. The guests applaud him in greeting. The boy says his name is Roy Leonard. He thanks them for coming today on this hot day to celebrate his birthday. He may be young and not mature, but he hopes that he can help his father and hopes that he can benefit people. He asks them to use their strength for the good of the country, and is also grateful for the opportunity to meet with his young comrades, with those who will become a support for their country in the future, and offers to discuss the future of the country together. Everyone applauds. Zenverick notices that what he does is seduce with his appearance. The herald notices that only he thinks so. The herald sees Dia looking at the prince with admiration and is afraid that she will stop calling him the best. Zenverick tells him to be happy that she even said that. The prince descends into the hall. He approaches the Duke and asks if it is true that he is Duke. He answers in the affirmative and says that it is a great honor to be known to the prince. They are happy to congratulate him. He thanks and says that he has heard about his achievements. He looks great today. The herald is flattered, especially to hear this from their lordships. Everyone is watching them. The prince pays attention to the girl standing next to him, asks who it is. The Duke says it's his daughter Lydia. She says that she is pleased to meet you. Her name is Lydia von Ernest, and she wishes the prince a happy birthday. He looks at her carefully, and then asks if he can ask her to dance. Lydia replies that she would be honored. They dance together. The prince notices that she is a wonderful dancer. He hadn't made a mistake in choosing her as his first partner. She is surprised that it is his first, says that he looks very experienced. The prince explains that he had private lessons. She says it's just like hers. Young nobles don't have many opportunities to socialize. He begged his father to give him this opportunity tonight. It feels like it's being used, but that's to be expected. Dia pays attention to his speech, but he says that the adults will not hear them, so she can also speak calmly and asks her to call him by name. She smiles, says she understands him, and calls him Roy. Prinza is happy to hear this and believes that Dia was indeed the right choice. Dia asks why he chose her. He says it's because she talked to him differently. He had interacted with a few people, but they were either too excited or too involved in talking to him. When he was about to give up, he met her, so thanks to her, he didn't lose hope. Dia thanks him. She remembers Isaac telling her that it was very important to have a friend to talk to. Dia says she is also happy to be able to talk to him. They finish the dance, and everyone around them applauds. After the ball is over, they drive back. Dia asks her father if she was rude. He says she was a beautiful lady. The crown prince turned out to be even more adorable than they say, and thanks to the talisman, she was completely calm in front of Roy and during the dance. Her father asks her if she would be happy to be the crown prince's bride. She can't believe it, thinks it's a fairy tale, and says it would be a dream come true. Her father informs her that he has to tell her that in truth, today's birthday boy was supposed to choose a potential bride, and Dia became the contender. She can become a princess. Dia is surprised that she is a candidate for the bride. She says that today should just be a celebration of the prince's birthday. My father confirms this. Of course, this was the main goal. The prince may or may not have known, but the king had arranged the feast with the intention of doing so. Dia recalls that the prince said that he felt that he was being taken advantage of. He knew, but he showed up anyway. The Duke says that they are just discussing it now, but if she wants it, she can count on his support. At night, she goes to bed. Birds sing outside the window. Dia can't sleep again. Ever since she became the bride candidate, it seems like everything around her is just a dream. Her father said she should let him know as soon as she made up her mind. If she didn't want to, then he would refuse. But a father can't go against the king's wishes. Someone is knocking on her door. Katrina comes in and wishes her a good morning and tells her that Dia looks very tired. She tells him that Isaac isn't coming today and asks if she should take a break after lunch. Dia is upset that Isaac isn't coming today, but she wouldn't want to see him now, even if he came. The picture asks why. Lydia doesn't know what to say. She goes to him on her own, finds Isaac in the garden. He asks how the party went, if they danced well. She says that her father even praised her, and she also made a friend. Isaac praises her, says she's doing great. He asks if she has seen the wild prince. Dia doesn't know what to say, and then says that he's just amazing, like something out of a picture in a book. She tries to say something to Isaac, but then changes her mind and doesn't say anything. At night, she goes out on the balcony and wonders why she didn't tell Isaac that she was a bride candidate. Until today, she had told him everything. Dia doesn't understand what's happening to her. She's happy that she was chosen, but she doesn't understand why she didn't tell Isaac. And because she didn't say anything, she doesn't know what to say to him now. Catherine asks if it's not normal that she didn't tell him. She believes that Dia does not have to tell everything, and it is up to her to decide with whom to share her innermost secrets. You may feel guilty for keeping it a secret, but even if you don't, it's not a secret. She asks Lydia if she wants to tell Isaac about this or not. She's not sure. Katrina takes her by the hand, begs her forgiveness, and advises her to do as she sees fit, and she will always be on her side, although she is unlikely to be able to help in any way. Dia thanks her and says that she is much better now. Even if she couldn't share it now, one day she would definitely tell him everything. Isaac meets Leo on the street again. He apologizes for taking so long. Isaac calls him an idiot and asks him what kind of letter it is. He asks if he didn't tell him to send it. Isaac admits that he couldn't read it and demands that Leo not overestimate the commoner's abilities. He says that he somehow didn't think, so he really is an idiot. He really could have written the letter more clearly. He really hadn't been able to read it, but if Leo was here to learn about the lives of ordinary people, that was more than enough. Leo promises that he will do everything he can. Isaac notices that he's beaming even when he's just smiling, and he doesn't like it. Speaking of which, he's wearing a wig and has a security detail. Leo laughs and asks if it's true that he looks more like Brother Matthews now. Isaac notices that it's definitely better than last time, but the clothes don't fit. He calls him to come with him. He asks where. Isaac says he's going to his house. They come home. My mother welcomes them, says that they are not very rich, but asks them to feel at home. My mother says that he brought home a friend from the nobility, and she thought that the young lady would be the first noble guest here. Isaac says that the streets of the city are too dangerous for the beautiful milady, and they are not friends with him. He calls Leo to follow him. He would lend him his clothes. Leo follows him up. They enter the room, and Isaac pulls out his own clothes and offers Leo to put them on. These are commoner's clothes. Isaac says he'll come out. If something is needed, he should call him. He stands outside the door and waits for Leo to change. Leo calls out to him, saying that he is very kind. Isaac asks why. Leo says that the name he uses may be fictitious. He told him his real name, and even if they weren't friends, he'd been very polite and let him in. Isaac says that if he asks him about it, then he can't be bad. If his identity was unknown, Modus wouldn't have let him go with him. He is sure that the nobles have ways to find out about a person. He helped him, first of all, because he is problematic. Leo laughs. He likes being called problematic. Isaac thinks he has a strange sense of humor. He apologizes and says that she is really weird. It is very unusual, simply put. Leo leaves the room and says that he is very glad that they met. Isaac stares at him. Leo asks what's wrong, and Isaac just thinks it's not fair, it's his clothes, and he looks great no matter what he's wearing. Someone asks for forgiveness. They look around and see Marius. This is a local kid. Maria asks who it is. Leo smiles and says that he knows her name is Maria. It's a beautiful name. He's pleased to meet you. Isaac says it's Leo. Maria is confused. Then he shouts that it's not what Isaac thought it was. Leo says that in fact, he lost to him. Isaac asks if Dio wants to play with the kids or stare outside. He reflects and says that he would rather play than just look around. Isaac agrees and calls him outside. On the street, guys ask who it is. They hadn't seen him before. The boy says that his name is Leo, and he is pleased to meet you. The guys are getting acquainted. Paul and Johan give their names. They ask Isaac if they are correct in thinking that this is his friend. He says he's not his friend. Leo laughs. They're gonna play. Johan shouts that he won't give him any slack, just because he's a friend of Isaac's. He thanks and laughs. So Johan challenged him to see who was the best at hide and seek, but he didn't know much about the place. Leo says that's why he's here with him. This way, you can explore the streets while looking for a way to hide from the enemy. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Isaac says he takes the game too seriously. They wonder where they can hide. There are 2 of them, and they are too big, so there is no place to hide. They suddenly see a patrol of guards walking around the streets. Isaac asks Leo if he knows them, too. He replies that yes, and it will be bad for him if they notice him. But there's nowhere to hide, so Isaac points to the other side, where he can hide. They hide in an alley, Isaac blocking Leo's path. Not to make any noise until they pass. There should be shadow spirits in the shadows here. He may ask you to hide them. They take cover. Security passes them by. They say that standing guard during the holidays, when there is so much food around, is just torture. The booze must have been good too. This is a royal celebration after all. One of them says that they are on duty and asks you to keep your opinion to yourself. Isaac and Leo see that they seem to have left. Leo apologizes for this, and he says that he seems to be able to use Shadowman's magic. Isaac explains that its element is actually water. Compatibility with other elements is by no means 0. He must have a lot of energy if he's a noble. Isn't he capable of so much more? Leo says he'll try again next time. Together with him, he learns a lot of new things. Isaac asks him what he's talking about, because they're just playing right now, and Leo keeps talking about studying when you need to do it at full strength. That's what it means to be a child. Leo agrees with him. Leo was able to hide, and Johan burst into tears. Johan took it out on him, though he doesn't know why. The prince fits perfectly into street life. Deli asks Catherine how much time is left until the next lesson. She replies that she has 1 hour. Then Lydia is going for a little walk. Catherine wants to be careful. She was worried about meeting Isaac before, but it's fine now. He works in the garden, wears leaves. Lydia calls out to him. Isaac says she's on time and grabs her hand, offering her a peek into his garden. Lydia asks him again what his garden is, what it is. He explains that he planted some seeds. She looks around at the clover blossoms. She asks if he did it himself. He suggests that she go through these flowers. She asks if it's really right here. She can't ruin what he's been working so hard on. Then he asks her to dance. He grabs her hands and they dance. Isaac notices that it's hard to dance here. Lydia agrees with him. She asks why he is doing this. He says it's a secret. She wants to say something, but says she'll do it another time. Isaac says he'll tell you next time, too. They dance among the clover flowers. 2 days later, the prince is staying in the Duke's house. The Duke thanks him for coming so far. The prince apologizes for the intrusion. He wanted to see the famous garden. The Duke says he will ask Lydia accompany him. The prince hands him the book and tells him that he wants the Duke to consider the offer. The Duke flips through the notes, asks if he understood correctly that it was their Majesty who signed it. He says that this is only a draft version of the document. The Duke promises to answer before he leaves. He asks Lydia if he can rely on her. She nods back. She calls the prince to the garden, where the table is set for tea. The prince is surprised that flowers bloom here in autumn as well. Nature loves to surprise here, much better than in the castle. Lydia is sure that their gardener would be happy to hear what he said. So they're finally alone. Lydia says that she would like to talk about the proposal to her father that they made earlier. Does it have to be him? Prince Roy explains that this is so. Duke Ernst is responsible for education in the country. That's why he came today. Since she already understands the education system, to be honest, these are his selfish thoughts. His father will understand immediately. That's why he spoke to the Duke today. Lydia asks if it's a bad thing if His Highness finds out. The prince explains that it is bad. He's taking a huge risk trying to do something like this, as his father will no doubt stop him. One day he will become a king and will not shun this power and responsibility. But he has a dream that he wants to fulfill, and for this he needs a partner. Lydia asks if it's really her this partner. Roy confirms. This visit is his gratitude for attending the holiday, and he also wanted to talk to his potential bride. He needs to buy some time before entering, and to do that, he needs a fiancé so that he doesn't make a fuss. The Arrest family is a perfect match, both in terms of status and blood. Most importantly, if he was choosing a political bride, he would choose her. He says that she still has time to think, suggests that we get to know each other first, and wants to see if we can trust her. She says she doesn't want to do the same. The prince thinks it's wonderful. She has the right to do so. He uses her, so she can do the same. Lydia says she needs time to think about it. The prince smiles and agrees with her. It suggests setting a day. Dia says she is still a candidate, but can she tell anyone about it? The prince allows it. No need to hide anything from your friends. And he would like to use this to keep in touch with Duke Ernst. Lydia understands that he is using her as an excuse. Roy is amused to discuss this with her, so the Duke will come second. She says it won't help. She can give him enough. The prince thanks her. Lydia thinks he's a soft person. The prince asks if she doesn't like him. She replies that it is rather the opposite. If Roy was her fiancé, then the risks must be increasing. If he decided to call off the engagement, her family might be in trouble. Roy allowed himself time to think, knowing that his actions would determine the future. Roy is a respected man. It's a great honor to be engaged to a prince. She doesn't know what to say to him. She is approached by Isaac, who asks if everything is all right. She looks distant. Lydia says she was just thinking. Isaac tells her that today he wanted to tell her his secret. He calls her to come with him and tells her that he wants to please her. He finds a 4-leaf clover his garden. She's surprised. Isaac explains that there is a lot of it here. They were normal until she walked through them. She is even more surprised, and Isaac says that when she steps on a clover, a new leaf grows. She asks why he didn't do it himself. Isaac says it must be her, because when she goes, luck follows her. He doesn't know why she's upset, but if she keeps going, it'll be just fine. Lydia is crying. Isaac doesn't know what happened. He just wanted to support her. He calls himself insensitive, and he's so sorry that he doesn't know anything. Lydia was afraid that her choice was wrong, but Isaac showed that happiness would follow her. He inspired her to do her best and move forward. It would be wonderful those words made her happy. She tells Isaac that she once met the prince at a party. He turned out to be a wonderful person, a good dancer, and he is also kind and intelligent. She was chosen as a potential bride, and then they met again, and he said that she was a suitable candidate. She looked up to the brides and princes in the books, but she never thought she would be one of them. She was surprised and didn't know what to do, even though it was a great honor. Isaac agrees with her that of course she was surprised. He admits that he didn't even think about love or marriage. Isaac says she's younger and she's still a kid. She was right to worry. Of course, it's hard to cope with this and with lessons in marriage, and it's natural to worry. He asks her if this is the final decision. Lydia explains that Sir Roy told her to think about it. Isaac advises you to take your time. At least the prince isn't a bad guy, but she doesn't need to rush into making such a difficult decision. You just need to be in the present and everything will work out. She agrees with him and says that she is still a candidate. Isaac claims that everything is fine as long as she is happy. Lydia asks why he only cares about her. Isaac replies that he doesn't know the prince, and instead of thinking about the stranger, he would prefer that she be happy. She recalls that her father asked her to tell him when she would make a decision, and if she didn't want to, he would refuse, and that Catherine had advised her to do as she saw fit. She didn't know that so many people wished her happiness. She was very lucky. She asks Isaac if she can take the clover home. He allows it. Lydia wants to make bookmarks out of this clover and then send everyone her gratitude and good luck. For Isaac, she doesn't know what to do. He's grown up and doesn't have any books. He says that he is a fool. All this time he thought that he had grown a garden for her. But he can leave to go somewhere before he grows up. I wish he could grow up faster. At night, he has a dream about his past life. He wakes up, goes to wash his face, and thinks he's cold. It had been several months since Lydia had told him about her engagement to the prince. Their relationship hadn't changed much since then. The only thing is that now Lydia comes to the garden less often, but this is only because the prince meets with her twice a month. He's curious, he's never seen the prince. A love wedding is something that unites ordinary people in his previous life and here. He doesn't know much about political marriages. Lydia and Prince younger than him. It must be hard to think about marriage before love. He knows not to interfere, they have different values. He knows, but he wants her to marry for love. He was genuinely surprised when Lydia started crying. Yes, they were happy tears, but he still didn't want to see her cry. He wants her to always be happy. A commoner like him can't do anything, but he hopes that she will find happiness. What he means is that this is all he can do. Lydia calls out to him and asks who he's talking to. Isaac says it's with a rabbit. Lydia asks again which rabbit. Isaac shows her the rabbit. She exclaims how cute he is. She reaches out to pet the rabbit, but Isaac pulls it away. Isaac explains that it's made of snow, what he cleaned, dirty snow, and she can get frostbite on her hands without gloves, so she shouldn't touch it. It inflates. Isaac thinks maybe she likes him. He asks if she should have one sent to her room. He will make it out of pure snow, but it is worth leaving it on the terrace. She is happy, asks for a promise from him, and says that she will ask that her father use magic to keep him from melting. Isaac promises. He makes a hair. Sam asks Lydia how things are, if the prince came yesterday. She replies that he came and looked beautiful in his elegant white dress. Isaac thinks about her coming here again, and Milady must think it's inappropriate to talk about her handsome prince, so she talks about him to him and not to her mother or Miss Catherine. She tells me that Sir Roy seems to have a sister. Her hair is the same color, and she's very cute. It seems that at the same time she is showing off her friend and her idol. In any case, he is really happy, and it seems that they have become friends. Lydia says she told the prince about Flora. Isaac notices that she is very cute when she talks about the prince, and he knows that her smile suits her very well, but for some reason he always seems to annoy her. She asks him to repeat what he just said. Isaac clarifies, maybe he said something wrong. He apologizes, says that he listens to her attentively. Lydia says that's enough for today. Isaac apologizes if he said something strange. She leaves, and he doesn't know what he's done to make her angry again. But he's trying to be careful, and once again he's learned that being in the present is important. For now, he would look at Milady's smile and listen to it as often as he could. My father appears in the garden. He explains to his father that he did not shirk from work. He just liked to help out with the greenhouse work, too. My father refuses. Isaac says he can't let Lydia come here when it's cold. My father agrees. Isaac told her that he would like to be an adult as soon as possible. He would like to become a gardener, although it's not much. Gardening is not a profession. He can easily learn it, even though he started learning it early. Doesn't know if he will make it before Milady's wedding. Probably not. He doesn't need to worry about the future. You just need to work hard and do everything in your power. Lydia go to bed. She thinks that just giving it away will be so hard. She opens the box and looks at the 4-leaf clover. She was able to easily give her father and Catherine the 4-leaf clover bookmarks, but she still can't imagine giving it to Isaac right now. He doesn't have any books, so the bookmark is useless. He doesn't have any fancy clothes, which is bad, and he definitely won't accept something expensive. She thinks about what she should do. It seemed that she had once worried about such a thing, and then he replied that in any case, he would be happy as long as she was. She tosses around in bed and wonders why he's always like this. Even today, he said that she was very cute when she talked about the prince. She wanted to chat longer today because she wouldn't be able to see him tomorrow. She thinks about the rabbit, looks at it, and thinks again about what she can give Isaac besides a smile. She decides to talk to Catherine tomorrow, thanks the rabbit, and wishes him a good night. In the morning, she wakes up, goes to the terrace to say hello to a cute rabbit. She sees Isaac cleaning the snow. She runs to him. He calls her a fool, says that she will catch a cold, takes off his jacket and wraps Melody in it. She says she's his. He says it's all right. He's working and he's even hot. He asks her what she's doing here. Melody explains that she saw him from the terrace. Isaac says she doesn't need to come running just because he's here. Lydia informs me that today is her birthday. The other young ladies are having a party for her, and she thought she wouldn't be able to see it today. Isaac laughs and says they can see each other another time. She says they can't meet another time. She had to put herself first. She didn't have to worry about him. She had to worry about catching a cold. He asks if he can be bothered about her. Melody promises that she will be more careful next time. He pats her on the head, says it's beautiful. He offers to see her off before Katrina comes to wake her up. Eddie doesn't want to go back. She wants to be with Isaac. They go to the castle. Isaac invites her to look up. He's activating water magic. He says it's his birthday present. A rainbow made with water magic. It's beautiful. He wishes her a happy birthday. Lydia thanks him. She asks to repeat it next year. He agrees. And really, they shouldn't worry yet. They should appreciate the present. Other girls gather in the castle to congratulate Lydia on her birthday. She thanks everyone. She understands that they are young ladies from other families. It's just like Mom said. They flatter and stare with jealousy, while others say that they are also candidates. Still others glorify her to gain favor, and all because she is a strong candidate for the prince's bride. My mother said that today at the festival she will see who her true friend is. You need to think that being a candidate is a good opportunity. In other words, she must use Sir Roy. She remembers that Sir Roy said something like that too, suggested that she use it. She thinks it's worth considering his offer. A girl calls out to her. This is Lady Tortoise. She says it's been a very long time. They haven't seen each other for a long time. Tortle is glad to have met her again. Lydia says she's happy too. They squeal with joy. Actually, she wanted to ask her something. Turtles asks about what? Lydia wonders what kind of gift she would give a man. She asks again who she's going to give it to. Doesn't think it will be useful if it's about Sir Gerald. But recently she gave her father a pendant. That is, a silver one, not expensive. My father uses a sword, so he doesn't wear rings, and he doesn't like them because they scratch. Lydia thinks that Isaac is wearing gloves, so the ring will not fit, but the pendant is inexpensive and impressive, does not interfere with work, and does not scratch. She knows that this is it. She asks Tortoise where she bought it. She says it's Yule soon, and there are plenty of things to worry about. Lydia recalls that Yule is a winter holiday that is celebrated in December. They sing hymns of gratitude, parents give gifts to children as prayers for their good luck, and on this day, children give gifts to their parents, brothers, sisters, and friends. She can give Isaac a present that day. Lydia thanks Lady Tortoise. She needs to prepare a gift. She hopes that he will like it. His little sister asks for help because she is stuck. Teichai asks what she wants. She explains that this is an autumn game, and the tactical RPG part is too complicated. He says he just got back, and that's the first thing she asks of him. You say that he is good at it, so he should help. Teichai shouts that she's just terrible at it. She's always playing some kind of head scratcher. She again demands that he show his little clueless sister how to play. He agrees, because he has no choice. She thought she was stuck on forever, and now she's going to get a good ending, so she thanks him. He hears someone calling out to him, calling him Isaac. He opens his eyes and sees that his mother is trying to wake him up. She tells him that it's time to get up, that he needs to go wash up and eat breakfast, that he needs to hurry because Dennis has already left. Eyes thinks about having another dream about his past life. He tries to remember the name of the character Yuka mentioned. I think he heard it. In any case, he is not interested in autumn games. He goes to the greenhouse. Dia calls out to him. Isaac wonders why she always comes to tea. Lydia asks Dennis if she and Eyes can take the job. He agrees as they are just taking a break. Isaac sees his father smile, a rare smile. He thinks they're like a bear and a cat. But he is even a little happy to see the father talking to the child without any hesitation. Catherine pours out the tea, bows, and prepares to leave. Isaac asks if she would like to join them. but she explains that she still has a lot to do. He thinks that she might be trying to be polite, and that his father has also left. He asks Milady why she decided to have tea here. She explains that because they can relax together here. They usually stand and talk in the garden. People would notice if they were sitting comfortably, and this is the only place where a commoner like him and Milady can have tea in peace. After all, it is so good to drink tea with someone and not alone. Isaac asks why she doesn't have tea with Katrina. Dia admits that she doesn't have the courage to ask. Isaac thinks she must be worried that her request will sound like an order, and she probably takes Katrina's personality into account. He asks if he can invite her, but Lydia refuses. She says she's on her own. Isaac agrees and thinks she's trying really hard. Milady is probably shy, afraid to show her real self. The first time they met, she hid behind her title and was brash. It's easier to hurt a person if they show their true self, and anyone would be scared. He says she's gotten stronger. Lydia asks if this is a compliment, but agrees and adds that she is very cool. As far as he was concerned, she was better than the prince. Dia shouts that it's because he hasn't met his highness, all because of his manners. Isaac agrees with her. He understands that the usual conversation about the prince has begun. He really thinks Milady is great because he couldn't do it in his previous life. He pretended not to be hurt and died without showing his real self. He thinks he's a jerk. He wonders how Yuka, his younger sister, is doing now after his death. I know her, and he's sure she's still happily playing autumn games. By the way, this is the situation. A big house, a beautiful well-kept garden, and a beautiful blonde. It's so similar to the world of a typical fantasy game. And then there's Sir Roy. He remembers his sister saying that she thought she was stuck forever, but now she can have a good ending with Sir Roy, and thanking him for it. He remembers how he asked if this guy didn't have crazy stats. His skills and levels couldn't match up to the other guy. Yuka explained that he wasn't that guy, but Sir Roy. It's not that he doesn't like strong characters, but how terrible she is at acting. He would ask why she couldn't win if he was so strong, and you would say that there were walls that couldn't be overcome by love alone. Speaking of barriers to love, Sir Roy has a fiancée who is a sweet and likable character. He asked his sister what she liked, and she showed him a picture of her on her phone. The candidate for Sir Roy's bride is Lady Lydia von Ernst. He remembers the photo on his phone and realizes it's Milady. Sir Roy, Milady, and they're engaged. She has the same full name as Milady. Maybe it's a coincidence. This is the only thing he remembers from Yuki's minigame. He begins to remember that in the game, Sir Roy's name was RLJ Leonard von Rosengene, the first prince of the Kingdom of Avento. Each character has its own magic element, and there are 7 of them in total. Every year is 12 months, and the seasons are the same as in Japan. There is a magic academy and many noble students. Commoners can only enter if they meet the requirements. This is so similar to the world of a typical fantasy game. Isaac realizes that this is an autumn game. This is the world of an autumn game, but for him, this is the real world. Maybe because it's based on the game, whether he should pay attention to something. He thinks we need to calm down. As he drinks his tea, Lydia screams that he's not listening to her. Isaac says he's listening, of course, but he's thinking about how the game was called Your Star, but he wasn't there. The problem is with her. Milady is one of the candidates for brides on the branch with Sir Roy. Of course, on this branch, Milady's heart is broken, but even on this branch, Milady doesn't destroy or lose her life. He lets out a sigh of relief, which is reassuring. But then those memories are useless, and Eddie and he are safe, no matter what the branch is. And why does he even think about it at all? He would have been surprised if Milady continued to love Sir Roy like in the game. Dia goes on to say that Sir Roy is really amazing, even at the last meeting. In the game, this political marriage will end romantically and Milady will be happy, but perhaps she will be rejected. Isaac doesn't want her to cry. He doesn't know what to do if my lady falls in love with Sir Roy. They will enter the Magic Academy together to support each other. Even though he was a commoner, he could do the same if he had enough magic. The schools and magic in this world are very interesting, and Milady also teaches him to write. And just how much magic is needed, it's time to level up as much as possible. If he had met my lady again, he would not have thought of such a thing. There were many opportunities for him because Milady was with him. For example, this tea. Commoners can't drink red tea, but he can because he's with her. And because he wanted to show Milady the garden, he can try harder and have more fun. He says out loud that he's glad they met. Dia doesn't know what he's talking about. She's angry. Dia shouts that he's not listening to her again. Isaac realizes that he's pissed her off again, but she seems more confused than angry. She says that now she wanted to talk about Flora. He agrees, but he thinks that first it's a prince, and now a sister. Dia looks at her watch and says it's time to go. Isaac offers to accompany her, but Milady refuses because Katrina is coming to pick her up. She holds out her hand with the pendant in it and asks him to take it. He picks things up. It looks like a pendant, he likes it, but it doesn't fit Milady. He opens it and sees inside a 4-leaf clover that she picked in his garden. He says this pendant is cute, just like her. Milady is confused and asks why he says that. Isaac states that then he will talk to himself, but Dia thinks it doesn't matter. It's written all over his face. Isaac asks if it might be better if they don't communicate. Lydia says she doesn't want to do that. Isaac is glad. He asks if it's her pendant. You say it's a clone of him. He doesn't know what she's talking about. Milady explains that she made bookmarks for her father and others, but he doesn't have any books, so this pendant is for him. He had already heard that she had given the clover to the Duke, who was over the moon and bragging about it the other day. But he couldn't even imagine that he would get something like this as well. Lydia explains that it is inexpensive and cheap. Katrina bought it in a commoner's shop. Isaac thanks Dia and says that he will cherish him. He asks why she gave it away now. She explains that today is the day before Yule, but in general I forgot about it. Yule, in other words, is Christmas. It was like an autumn game, and he always thought it was weird that it was December 25th. But he can't give her anything in return. He says he didn't prepare anything. Dia thinks that she got a lot of things from him. Isaac asks what, for example. She explains that, for example, a snow rabbit. This is her treasure. He too had already received a lot from her. Written and sent emails make him happy. This is his treasure. In exchange for the last time, he made a rabbit. He'd have to be an idiot not to protect this girl. He says that he will give another extra gift. If someone insults her, he demands that she tell him, and he will beat them up. Dia asks why it's so cruel, but Isaac tells her not to worry, just to keep it in mind. I don't care about the prince or the fact that this is a game. He only cares about my lady. He wouldn't let anyone hurt her. He swears by this pendant, a strange oath for Yule, but still, he thinks he can pray to God. He clutches the pendant and makes a wish that Milady will continue to smile in the future. The prince is sitting in the library. He does business. The butler notices that their highness seems to be enjoying it. He replies that there are still a lot of papers that need to be looked at. He says of the Duke that he is an ice noble after all. He's strict, but not like his father. The butler says it's not usual for him to talk like that. He thinks the rumors are true. The method of detecting magical abilities worked just fine. He was surprised when he was asked to make a report on hydrangea color. To think that the color could change depending on a person's magic. It's a shame that they need to be pruned before they wither, because they bloom according to your abilities. He must immediately prune the flowers, otherwise they will not bloom next year. His sister likes them, so he wants to show them again. Her Highness really respects it and must have enjoyed sharing it with her brother. Their elements are very similar. The butler says he knows a lot about gardening. He says that he talked to a specialist. Someone knocks on the door. The prince lets me in. His sister comes in and tells Roy to look at himself, because he's been staring at papers all day. He is happy to see Felina and says that she is a little early today. Felina screams, which he says is that she can wake up on time. He asks if she woke up on her own. The nurse reports that her maid woke her up. The prince laughs, and Felina shouts that he laughs too much. He apologizes and says that he was laughing because he has such a cute little sister. He asks what happened. Felina informs him that roses have bloomed in the garden and invites him to take a look. The prince says that he has a little time until the next meeting. Felina calls him to go to the garden. The prince agrees. He can go out for a little while. Felina asks if she can call Klaus. Roy doesn't mind, but he asks if he'll run away when he sees him. Felina says that she will go with Klaus next time. They overlook the garden. Felina admires the flowers. Roy notices that she is very fond of roses. She says she would like to see them with him because they remind her so much of him. But he says they remind you more of her. Felina disagrees and again claims that he is more like them. Roy says that she and Lady Lydia are the only ones who mutually praise her. Lady Lydia is one of the potential brides. Felina says she's interested in it. It was strange that he was showing interest in someone. He thought she didn't like political games. Felina says that he is also strange, never mentioned the names of other candidates. Roy remembers that this is true. He tells me that Lady Lydia has wavy golden hair and bright blue eyes like blacky flowers. When they first met, she was wearing a blue dress. She usually wears pale pink. It could be mistaken for a flower spirit. Both she and he danced with a partner for the first time, but she was good. Everyone applauded them. Felina asks for a blue dress, a pale pink one, and a good dancer, and this is Lady Lydia. The butler interrupts their conversations, informs them that the prince's next meeting is coming soon. Roy apologizes to Phil. She says it's okay and thanks him for keeping her company. She wishes him luck, and Roy promises to come back. They are traveling in a carriage somewhere. The prince looks out of the window, looking at the townspeople. The butler remarks that it's amazing that he doesn't get bored when he looks at the same street. The prince says that of course not, because every day is different from the previous one. He looks down the street and sees kids running around. He asks if he can ask the butler something. The prince asks his own question about how to make friends. He asks why he decided to ask about it. The prince explains that one person turned down his offer. The butler says he understands. He asks what their highness would do in such a situation if he would immediately answer yes. He says it would be difficult, but honestly, it depends on the person. The butler agrees, saying that not everyone is ready to agree when asked to be a friend. Roy realizes that he has chosen the wrong words, and he also stops communicating with his friends as usual. The butler asks what happened to the person who turned him down. The prince says that they see each other from time to time. The butler is surprised, and the prince says that he is running errands for him. He asks if he really needs to be with him, and the prince assures him that it's more than enough. But recently he himself has done a great job, but it's much more fun with him. The butler wonders if that means they're already friends. They arrive at the castle. He is met by Lydia and greeted at home. The prince says they haven't seen each other for a long time, but Lydia reminds him that it's only been 2 weeks. The prince sees that she is living a busy life. Others would say they were tired of waiting so long. Lydia apologizes, but the prince asks to be excused. That's not what he meant, and he hopes he hears about these happy days. Lydia agrees. The prince asks if she will show him the garden today, which is so good for him. She agrees and says that she will treat him to tea. They go to the garden. The prince says that today she is different in a good way. She explains that she is ashamed that she does not treat him with the same respect as other young ladies. He declares that he is happy on the contrary. Obviously, she had things to do before they met, but the other young ladies only want to know everything about him. Lydia asks if it's because he's an interesting person. The prince says that he doesn't like this kind of talk and it really isn't fun. Other young ladies' parents have taught them to flatter well, and their own feelings of affection and admiration are distorted. Lydia says she understands and asks if she shouldn't listen to him anymore. But Lady Lydia is different. He's glad to see the real thing. He asks her what she wanted to show him today. Lydia shows him acacia trees in full bloom and beautiful magnolias nearby. The prince is delighted. Ernst's garden is always changing, and it's a pleasure. Lydia says she loves this garden too. They hear a crunch and something falls from the tree. The prince closes Sophia behind him and asks her to move away. He thinks it's probably the culprit. It's to the ground. He gets up, dusts himself off, and says everything's fine. He's holding a bunch of acacias. Lydia asks why he fell right from that spot. Isaac doesn't understand the question. He says this is not the right place. It's just the top of a tree. Lydia shouts out why he fell out of the tree in the first place. Isaac explains that he cut some twigs to decorate Eddie's room. He thought he was just going to get some nice ones. Lydia says it's dangerous. Isaac thanks her for taking care of him. Lydia reminds me that he didn't even apologize. Roy says it's funny. He hadn't known her to be so relaxed. She calls out to Sir Roy. Isaac looks at him carefully and is surprised that he is Sir Roy. Lydia says she didn't say anything strange. Isaac explains that this is the guy who weird. Dia shouts that Sir Roy is the crown prince, and Isaac can be so rude, poking her finger and calling her this guy. Isaac asks if he can switch, but the prince says that everything is fine. They are in an informal setting. Isaac claims that he will never meet him officially because he is a commoner. The prince laughs and asks him to never say never. Isaac declares that if this happens, he will be afraid to be polite to him. He says he is too. Lydia watches them and asks if they really know each other. Isaac says that this guy got lost in the middle of town, and Roy explains that he helped him when he was exploring the city. Lydia says she's never heard them talk about it. Isaac tells the prince to save the complaints for Leo. He definitely knew, and he didn't even know, that Sir Roy was Leo. Roy apologizes and says that he thought to explain himself when they met, but they never met again. Isaac asks if he was trying to surprise him. Leo admits that he really wanted to see his reaction, but he wasn't even surprised. Isaac explains that he knew he had a high status. The fact that he behaves like an adult now also makes sense. He asks if that's all. Isaac says that's all. They laugh. The prince begins to glow. Isaac hides behind Eddie and asks him to stop glowing. Lydia screams at him not to use her as a shield. Isaac shouts that she has too much magic, so she's a great shield, so she can do it. Lydia asks him where the logic is. Her magic won't help. The reason Roy didn't tell Isaac who he was. The problem was that he didn't want him to interact with him any other way. But it seems like he has no reason to worry. The prince laughs. At this time, the butler appears, who calls out to the prince. He says, "What is it?" because they still have time. The butler explains that they have been drinking tea for too long, and it seems a little loud. He thought something had happened. Lydia apologizes and explains that it was their gardener who was rude. Isaac says it's his fault, but the two of them look at each other carefully. He recognizes him and asks why Isaac is here. Isaac also recognizes Matthias and says that these clothes do not fit him. Matthias realizes that this is the man who refused to be friends. Roy laughs and thinks that Isaac is more surprised by Matthias than that he's a prince. Isaac asks Milady how long it will be like this. She does not know, and offers to say that it is his fault. It didn't matter if it was an autumn game. They spent their days together happily. It's just wonderful that the prince is so happy. They are sitting in the garden. Flora grabs Lydia's arm and pulls. She asks her to stop. Isaac asks what it is. Lydia explains that Flora won't let go. She's very energetic today. It had been a year since he had become a gardener's apprentice and met Milady. Even after he realized that this was the world of the autumn game and that Leo was Sir Roy, his life didn't change. He shows his fingers how to play rock and paper and asks Flora if she can do it. She tries to repeat it and pulls away from Lydia. Isaac praises her. Flora laughs contentedly. Lydia is surprised. She says she never listens to her. Even Millie is one of the main enemies in the game. Now just a girl worried about her little sister. In that game, he wasn't even a non-script character. It's normal that he lives an ordinary, unremarkable life. That's seriously why he still has memories from his previous life. Isaac explains that children her age like to imitate everything they see. He shows her a wreath of flowers. Lydia asks what else it is. He explains that if you tie the ends of the flower like this, you will get a wreath of clover. He brings such a wreath to Lydia and Flora. This is a very cute flower decoration. Lydia says that he is very skilled in such things, these wreaths, that pendant. He says he thinks she can handle it too. He suggests starting from the beginning. First you need to pick a flower, divide the stem into two, wrap it around your finger, and you're done. He manages to make a ring out of clover. He says it's not a big deal, but he can tell by Lydia's face that something has happened. Maybe she was angry. Then she blushed because he'd put the ring on the third finger of his left hand. She points to his hand. Isaac is embarrassed. He says it was an accident. Lydia asks him to be quiet and not say anything. If he says a word, she won't answer for herself. He pauses, realizing that she's furious, and there's an awkward silence. But at this time, Flora starts to scream loudly and grabs Lydia by the hem again. She asks what happened. Flora points to Lydia's hand. She understands that she also wants such a ring. Lydia asks Isaac if he can make another ring for Flora, but not on her ring finger. If he did, she would forget about it. He agrees. He makes the ring to Flora, but she keeps screaming. Lydia doesn't know what's wrong with her, because she's already got the ring. Isaac says that now she has a new goal. She really liked the pendant. Lydia sees the pendant around his neck. Yule was so long ago, but why did he still have it? Isaac explains that he's been wearing it around his neck since the day she gave it to him. It was under my clothes, so it wasn't damaged, and now Flora has found it. He says he will make her a necklace, but the clone asks her to leave it to him. This is his treasure. Lydia is surprised that even in such ordinary moments, she can sense how much Isaac cares about her. He means a lot to her, too. So what can she do for him? It had been a year since she'd met Isaac. Sir Roy is waiting patiently for her decision, and soon it will be time to give an answer. Isaac sits by the water cannon and waits for Leo. He arrived a little earlier than he and Leo had agreed. He sees the old man from the flower shop and runs towards him. He asks if he is really waiting for that young man near the water cannon. Isaac agrees. The florist says that he dumbfounded him, came straight with him, and then straight from the bay floundering asked if he could sell him hydrangeas, promised to pay well. Isaac says this is because his hydrangeas are special. They can be replanted, and they bloom all year except during the rainy season. But the flower seller continues that he glagalized that it was something for some research, magic magi, elements, perfume, as if someone needed it. Isaac T know what's going on in his head. He taught him how to grow hydrangeas, so he won't let them wither. The salesman says that this makes him happy, and he says goodbye to him. Isaac promises to come back to the store sometime. Suddenly, he feels a shiver, realizes that it is the feeling of the spirit of darkness. He doesn't understand how these spirits can be here in the middle of the day. Isaac wants to try tracking them down. There are most spirits around magic sources. Magic involves spells such as hypnosis, and it is often abused by unkind people. He doesn't feel malice, but it doesn't hurt to be careful. He's running, and he feels that the source is somewhere here. He looks into the alley and sees a girl sitting with her back to him. He asks if she's okay. She shudders and asks who's there. Her hair sparkles. Isaac isn't happy about the new stupid shiny hair. He asks if she's Leo's little sister. The girl doesn't know who she's talking about. Isaac asks if she is Sir. The girl is surprised that he knows Roy. Isaac admits that he asked him to accompany him on walks around the city center. His name is Isaac, and he is an apprentice gardener on the Ernst estate. The girl remembers this name and understands that he is in the service of Mrs. Lydia. Isaac asks if she's lost. She explains that Roy went out for a walk, and she followed him and lost sight of him while she was looking around. Isaac feels the presence of the spirits of darkness. It comes from this cloak. Did she really go with Leo, and what kind of cloak was that? He asks her what kind of cloak it is. She explains that he was in Sir Roy's office. She tried it on, and it turned out to be a magical cloak that made you invisible. Isaac wonders if Roy is too stupid to leave such things unattended. Now everything fell into place. It seems strange that a richly dressed girl could wander around the city center without being noticed. The first time Leo showed up, there was quite a commotion. It doesn't really matter how or why, but it's lost. Isaac pats her head and says it's fine. He will deliver it to his brother. She agrees. Isaac uses magic to make a bird that takes off and flies away. The girl asks what it was. Isaac explains that this is magic for sending messages. He used it to find Sir Roy, even if he was wearing the same cloak. Now he can take her to the meeting point. He asks the girl to stay still and says that her hair will get dirty if it drags on the ground. He's gonna tie them up for her now. The girl thanks him and says that he was very good with long hair. Isaac explains that his younger sister often asked him to make her a ponytail. Of course, when I was little, so I had to learn. The girl asks again. It turns out that he has a younger sister, but he replies that this is an ex-sister. He gives her his hand and calls her to come. She tries to get up, but her leg hurts. She usually walks around the castle, so it's clear that she's overworked her leg out of habit. Isaac squats down and invites the girl to sit on his shoulders. The common people don't have the money for a carriage, so he will carry it. He puts her on his back and carries her. He asks her name. The girl replies that her name is Elena. He asks if she's a little late, but maybe he should address her according to her background. She says there's no need. This isn't an official reception. Isaac says that they are definitely brother and sister because they are the same. Elena agrees. Apart from his eyes, they're like two peas in a row. Isaac says he wasn't talking about looks. He was talking about behavior. This is the first time anyone has said that they are similar in anything other than appearance. Isaac says that she looks honest and acts like she should at her age, and Leo acts like an old man, which doesn't suit him at all. Elena asks what an old man is. Isaac explains that the face and appearance of a child and the behavior of an adult, he should relax more often. Elena agrees with him because Roy is working too hard. Isaac says she's worried about her brother. Elena agrees and says that he is very dear to her. Isn't Lydia the only rival in Roy's Ruta? Yuki didn't talk about her, and he doesn't any Elena, but even if he doesn't, it doesn't matter. It just means that she's not one of the main characters. It doesn't matter who she is, as long as she doesn't have an impact on his life or on Melissa's. He is convinced that his knowledge is terribly distorted. His knowledge gained from personal experience is different from what he remembers from when he helped Yuki with the game. Unlike him, who was living second life in this game, Yuki would have liked it better. He remembers how she kept getting stuck in the game and asking him to help. Elena says she thought she was stuck. This is Yuki's catchphrase. Could it be her? This Felina girl is Elena von Rosenhan, princess, the third child in the royal family, born to the king and his first queen. She remembers her entire past life, but it doesn't matter. She is one of the few people who was born with great magical power, and she has two elements that are hard to control. Therefore, her body released a storm of magic every time she was not in the mood. When she cried out loud, everything around her collapsed. She was afraid of everyone around her and often locked herself inside the palace. She hated how weird and scary she was. But then came her savior, her dear brother Roy. She has two older brothers, but only Roy is a blood brother, and they also have light magic, a very rare feature. Roy was also very kind to her, helping her through the most difficult period of her life. He found out why her magic was becoming unmanageable and taught her to control it step by step. How could she not love him with all her heart? Every time someone said that they were similar, she was very happy. Just looking like her beloved older brother is already a point of pride. When he was too busy to spend time with her, she could watch him in the mirror. She could distract herself from her loneliness by looking for his features in hers, and staring at herself in the mirror became a habit. And then one day, looking in the mirror, she remembers that she has seen this face before. She also knows her name, Felina Elena von Rosenheim. She was a minor character in an autumn game from her previous life on a branch with her favorite, this year's star. This is the official name. It has a huge hidden potential. In her previous life, Yuka found her ideal, but she thought it was very cold. She almost got caught. She saw it on the cover and bought the game. She couldn't forget him. Yuka wondered what to do. Should I start with its branch or save it for later? She thinks she'll figure it out when she gets through the training, and she just wants to play. Since she has strong magic, Gigi is enrolled in the Magic Academy. She was just left there without explanation, and then the game starts. The hydrangea in the corner is an indicator of her magic. Gigi is special. She has no special abilities, because the flower is white at first. Each partner has its own characteristics. How well Gigi gets close to someone, their personality will affect her. The color of the hydrangea changes depending on the branch you are leading. light green wind, earth orange, purple darkness, infrared fire, sky blue water, white nothing, light, yellow electricity. This is how it all happens in the Fantasy Academy. She decides to start with a bad ending with Prince Roy, and she will pass the good one when she finishes with the rest of the branches. There's no one else in the room, so Yuka lost the whole night. A few hours later, she thinks about how the prince is so good. He's just a mere courtesy on a branch of light. Yuka thinks that real men are only in games. She sees that someone enters the prince in the game, and the girl from the game asks permission to explain that someone like her is not worthy of Prince Roy. This is a rival, a principled competitor, a noblewoman. If you can't show that your efforts are producing real results, then you will never take the place of his bride. It requires you to remember it. Yuka asks if she wants a fair fight. It's beautiful. She is an honest person and will not stoop to mean tricks. She can't say that she doesn't like it. And now Yuka decides that now she will deal with this and get her confession absolutely honestly. She goes through the game long and hard, and finally everything is ready. She was ready to give up at any moment. She thinks she knows that this girl is her brother's sweetheart, a new character. It's true. That character, Felina Elena von Rosenheim. Felina was a minor character on the branch with Prince Roy and sometimes came to school. There are a lot of moments where you need to make the wrong choice, otherwise you won't get a good ending. If they met her, she would tell them things that Prince Roy wouldn't. She's her second favorite character after Prince. But because of how often she came to check on him, she was surprised why she was so attached to Big Brother. Being born Felina, she saw her life in the first person. She understood her pain like no one else. So that's why he loves his brother so much. In both her past and present lives, he had brought her happiness. She believes that this is a different matter, and she uses memories from her past life to make sure that Roy is happy. It's time to do something for him. She recalls the advice that she should avoid a couple of moments if she doesn't want a bad ending on the branch with the prince. First of all, Roy couldn't make up with Klaus. As a result, Klaus took the throne. Secondly, the swarm did not cope with its two abilities, light and dark. They just have to avoid them and then get a good ending. Felina decides that it's time to act, not to miss the moment. First, she needs to make friends with her brothers. Her older brother is the second Prince Klaus. Klaus is another branch in the game. He is competing with Roy for the throne. They have something in common. A good ending when Roy takes the throne and a bad ending when Klaus takes the throne. It can't affect Klaus and his branch, but it still exists and appears from time to time, so there must be a way to bring the brothers closer together. She asks Klaus if he would like to have tea with her and Roy. But Klaus' mom, the second Queen Simone, shows up and is in charge of her son, which she fears he'll have to give up. Klaus is too busy playing the violin. Klaus apologizes, and Felina says that she is not going to distract him when he is busy. Every time she is about to invite Klaus, Queen Simone intervenes and interrupts them. Even if she brings Klaus with her, he always keeps his distance from Roy. It is difficult to find an approach to him, but Felina does not give up and will try to figure it out. The swarm has both light and dark magic. Right now, he only knows about light magic, so it can't speed up progress here. This will only become known after entering the academy. Also, when she was worried about uncontrolled magic, he was always there to help. She wants to be there for him, to help him when he's the one who's going to suffer because of magic. If something pulls him down, she wants him to trust her. She needed to be someone he could talk to about anything. However, it cannot yet affect one situation, even slightly. All she can do is give her busy brother a chance to relax over a tea party. It's corny. She's a princess with memories from her past life. That's all she can do. She goes to his room and sees that he is not there, but sees hydrangeas blooming. Light yellow, just like light magic, and purple, just like dark magic. This means that the swarm already knows about its dark magic. She thought that he would only learn about these two abilities at the academy. Felina doesn't understand how he found out. That's not the only thing she finds strange. She asked him to tell her what Lady Lydia looked like. The Lydia Roy was talking about didn't look like the Lydia she remembered. Her hair color and eye color are the same, but everything else is different. Her first dress, she remembers wearing bright red even as a child, but her brother said she wore blue and light pink, not to mention dancing. The game says that when they first met, Lady Lydia danced badly and even fell, and then Roy was given a hand to help her up, and she fell in love with him. Here, however, it did not fall. He said she danced beautifully, not like in the game. Perhaps Lady Lydia remembers her past life. She would do anything to talk to her whenever possible. She's also the main candidate for the bride. She could be her daughter-in-law. Felina has an idea. She wants to meet Lydia. She wants to leave the palace. Perhaps she could borrow the robe from Roy's office. She can't think of anything else. She cleans up his room, grabs his robes, and leaves. And now she was lost. She tried so hard to run after her brother, but she lost sight of him. She couldn't take another step, so she sat down in an alley and thought about what would happen if she never came home. It's best to stay safe until the game starts, even though some things are already going wrong. Then she heard someone ask her if everything was all right. She is very surprised how she was noticed if she was wearing a raincoat. Felina asks who is there and sees an ordinary boy who asks if she is Leo's younger sister. He means Leo, like Leonhard, which is Roy's middle name. She doesn't know anyone who calls him that, so she doesn't know who the boy is. Then he introduced himself as Isaac, a friend of Roy's and apprentice gardener to Lady Lydia's estate. When she saw him, she felt a strange sense of nostalgia, very old memory. Memories from when she was still Yuka, memories of her older brother. Her brother who constantly argued with their stubborn father, her brother who tea honest with himself, her brother who died in an accident. Her parents were completely overwhelmed. She could hardly believe it. For that, he was given a death sentence. She calls him a fool because he could talk to them, their family. Those distant memories, memories of her brother that were closed. Perhaps it was because all her memories came back. She said something that she had said so often when she was Yuyuka. Thank you very much. She was already sure that she had reached a dead end, and just like that, because of one simple sentence, they were reunited. Not with her brother Roy, not with Klaus, but with her idiot brother. Isaac asks the girl if it's really true that she's really Yuka, and the girl asks if he's really Teichai. They think about the situation. Getting to know each other is so easy that no hesitation is required. It sounds very familiar, just the phrase reminded him of his sister. He asks the girl if she is Yuka, and then realizes that Teichai is in front of her. But the girl says that she wants him to call her Lady Elena. He says that he knows that being rude is her thing, but seriously, it's the first thing that comes to mind. Felina asks what he does in your Starand, who is Isaac. He replies that if only he knew, and he doesn't remember anyone named Elena either. They will explain that this is because Elena is her middle name, and the first is Felina. She's a real minor character on the Prince Roy branch. She took the middle name because Teichai calls Roy Leo. Isaac understands now where this name came from. He is not going to remember the names of minor characters. She says she's a supporting character, and he's not even a background character. He doesn't understand how reincarnation works at all, but he knows Roy, just by accident, and works for Lady Lydia, which is another accident. It must have been more than just an accident. Felina asks him not to tell her that it is his fault events are so different from the events in the game. Isaac asks what it means events are different. Felina explains that the swarm already knows about its two main abilities, darkness and light. She asks if it was his doing. Isaac asks him again if he really has two characteristics, but he doesn't even know what his fault might be. Felina remembers that Roy wasn't supposed to find out, but he's already used hydrangeas to do it. Isaac realizes that these must be the hydrangeas he bought from the old gardener. Leo bought these hydrangeas himself, and Isaac didn't do anything. Felina asks what about Lady Lydia. She was supposed to fall while dancing with Roy, but Millie was good at it, so she didn't mess it up. Again, nothing. Isaac says that he doesn't remember anything about the game and is a commoner with a drop of magic. What he could do. Felina shouts that she is a princess with powerful magic, and nothing came of it. Isaac demands that she not blame everything on him. Felina admits that she still can't stop thinking about her helplessness in this life. Isaac says she didn't die young like he did. She calls him a blockhead and says of course not. They all lived a full and peaceful life. Isaac is pleased. He asks what happens, that in her mind she is a little old granny. She shouts that, of course, no. She has old memories, but she's just a normal 5-year-old girl. She asks if he is a student in his memoirs. Isaac denies it, too. He's just an ordinary 8-year-old kid. Felina says that maybe it's because they're in the worldier star, but most of their memories are of the game. But still a lot is unclear. That would explain why she's talking the way she used to. Isaac asks Yuki for forgiveness. Sure, they have old memories right now, but they're not Taechai and Yuka anymore. They got a chance to meet again. He wanted to apologize for everything, for ruining his own life. After hearing the forecast, he broke down, stopped thinking, stopped managing his life. She and other people went through unnecessary pain. He was just a terrible person. Felina calls him an idiot and exclaims what an idiot her older brother is. She gives him a big, big hug, and he tells her that her idiot older brother is sorry. They came. Felina asks whose house it is. Isaac explains that this is his home. He told Leo that they would meet here so they would stand out less. Parents don't expect to see the princess, so she'd better put on her robes and hide. She agrees. Isaac informs his mom that he's home, asks if Leo is here. She greets him at home, but says that he came back very quickly, and Leo has not yet arrived. Isaac says he'll wait for him here. Mom asks him again why he won't wait for him at the fountain. He replies that something happened today, so the plans have changed a little. My father enters the room. Mom tells me that she and Denny's were just going shopping, and since he's back, he could look after the house. Isaac agrees, asking them to take care of themselves. They ask him to send their regards to Leo. They're leaving. Felina asks if these are his parents in this life. He looks a lot like them. He replies that he wouldn't say they have a bad relationship. Felina smiles. He asks her to stop smiling, and Felina asks him not to be shy. She says the man's name is Denny's. He reminded her of their father. Isaac agrees with her, but his past father is the past, and his real father is the real one. They both take their work seriously, and he respects them for that. Felina says Taechai has really changed. He replies that so much has happened in his past life. He helps this father with his work. Felina asks if he thinks the reason they have memories of a past life is because he wants to fix something he regrets. Isaac ponders the word fix. At this time, there is a knock on the door. Outside the door, they announce that it's Leo and ask if Isaac is home. Felina hears that Roy has arrived, but before they can talk to Leo, he holds out his hand and tells her that it's nice to meet him. He calls her Alina. She holds out her hand, says it's nice to meet him too, and calls him Isaac. He opens the door and tells Leo that he's been waiting for him. He apologizes profoundly for the delay, but he needs to know why Isaac decided to change their meeting place. Isaac takes off Felina's cape and says that she can take it off already. Roy is surprised. He asks what Felina is doing here. He asks Matthias to stand guard. Felina shouts that he couldn't give her a couple of seconds to gather herself, why he did it. Isaac replies that the whole point is to meet Leo. How much longer she was going to hide behind him. She calls him an idiot. The prince laughs. He says that it seems to him that Isaac and Felina have found a common language. Felina refuses, and then says that he helped her when she got lost in the city. The prince asks me again how I got lost. Leo holds up the cape and asks if he could just stop throwing things like that around. Roy says he's terribly sorry. You need to take better care of your things. Felina apologizes for taking it. She just wanted to follow him. It was his fault for not telling her about his walks outside, and she was just curious. Isaac asks them to admit that they are both guilty. He asks me what I need to say. They are silent. He says we need to apologize together. Something like that. Leo agrees and says that he will be more careful next time. Felina also agrees with him. Isaac asks that now he wonders where he got this robe. The prince replies that he made it himself. Isaac asks him again how it is. The prince explains that he took as a basis the dark magic that he used when they were hiding from the guards. Just like he said, he found out that he could use other types of magic. As he pondered his words, he decided to find out his options. Felina stares at Isaac. He wonders why she's trying to stare at him. He says that Elena was just talking about his dark magic and that you have two of them. Elena rushes to him, tries to shut his mouth, and demands that he stop talking about his two abilities in the open. This is a painful topic on his branch. Isaac thinks he doesn't mind, so he asks him to take a look. They see that the prince is smiling. Felina understands that this is true. He says that he is pleased to see that they are so close. Felina refuses. He tells them it's time for them to go home. He tells Felina that they will see each other at the palace. She agrees, apologizes for interrupting him today. The prince asks her not to worry. He still learned something new. He pays attention to her hairstyle, pats her hair, and says that it really suits her ponytail. Isaac asks not to spoil his sister like this, and the prince once again apologizes for the inconvenience. He asks him to hide the mantle so that no one else can take it. Leo tells Matthias that they are leaving. Isaac asks if he should accompany them. Leo asks him not to worry. They'll get there on their own. He says goodbye to Isaac. Elena calls out to him and whispers in his ear that no matter what happens to her next, she will do everything to make Roy happy. Isaac says this is great, and he will do everything to make Milady happy. Felina leans over and kisses him on the cheek. Leo and Matthias wonder why she kissed his ear, if she's in love with Isaac. What was that? Felina shouts that this is not so, and it was not a kiss. They're going home in the carriage. Felina tells Leo that there isn't much she can do, but if something bothers him, let him know that he can talk to her about anything. He says it's not sudden, but Felina thinks it's not sudden. She knows he's up to something, but she doesn't know what. Leo laughs and says that plotting is a bad word. He asks if Isaac has told her anything. She claims that Isaac has nothing to do with it. She wants him to be able to rely on her, and that desire is only hers. She understands that the older brothers want to do something for themselves, but even if he leaves her in the dark, she will still worry about him, and he will not be able to stop her. He laughs and says that he just can't hope for the best. Felina asks why he is laughing. It's absolutely serious. Matthias' stomach hurts just thinking about all the cleaning he's going to do. Matthias thinks that at least these two seem to be having fun. Isaac and his father are pruning roses. Isaac ponders the reason why he was reborn. He remembers the words of Felina, who says that maybe the reason they have memories from a previous life is because he wants to fix something he regrets. As a gardener's apprentice, he followed in his father's footsteps, so he was reborn. His father calls out to him and says he's cutting too much. April is almost over. They need to prune the roses so that they will bloom in May. So far, it's a little difficult for him to do this alone, so his father helps him. His father gives him a box of flowers and asks him to take it to the mansion and then come back. Isaac says he can take it, but he hasn't finished pruning it yet. But my father insists. Isaac agrees. He hasn't been able to stop thinking since he met Elena. He doesn't look like himself. He hears Lydia yelling at someone to wait. He's surprised it's Milady. He is attacked by Lady Emma, who asks if he will be a shadow for the young lady. She says his disgusting dancing skills have hindered the young lady's progress. To be her partner or shadow, then it was only right that he should have the proper level. Isaac asks her what she's talking about. Emma grabs him by the scruff and tells him that he should go after her now. Dia will forgive her for stopping. She carries Isaac to the ballroom. He asks what to do now. Emma says she wants to learn to dance. Isaac is upset. Actually, he should get back to work. He says he agrees, but these clothes that were just put on him are ridiculous. The Duke stands in the doorway and enjoys the sight. He explains that these are his things from when he was younger. Isaac asks if the Duke isn't busy, and the Duke explains that each of them needs a break from time to time. And he was asked for advice on the best outfit to wear for dance lessons. He notices that Isaac likes it. He asks Dia if this is true. She says she thinks it's better this way, though not by much. Isaac thanks her and asks her how long she's been watching him. The Duke says it's pretty cute to look at someone who wears your old clothes. By the way, he asks Isaac what he would say to becoming his son. Milady tries to stop him. Isaac asks you not to joke around like that. The Duke notices that he is not a blunderer. It's still early, but he should consider it a birthday present. Melody is surprised. She asks the Duke how he knows when his birthday is. He replies that of course he knows. He's a servant in their household, so maybe the 9th. Lydia says she didn't even know until last year. Isaac thinks about what she didn't ask. Emma wonders if they're done with the idle chatter and would like to get back to the question. All further dance lessons of the young lady, Isaac must attend as a partner. He thinks that he's a gardener's apprentice. He has a lot of work to do, and his father will be furious. The Duke promises to talk to Denny's and help him sort things out, so he shouldn't worry. He realizes that he has been cornered. Emma asks if they agree. Sophia is terrified, and they agree. So, under Miss Ella's guidance, he attended these dance lessons for the next 2 weeks. So half of May passed. They are walking in the garden. Blue flowers are spread all over the garden, and it seems that you are walking on the sky. His father pitched the idea for the garden, and he finished it for his birthday last week. Prince Roy asks if his birthday was last month, and he didn't know it. Dia says that, to be honest, using their family's garden as a gift to her son is too much. Isaac more excited than expected to see this beautiful garden planted just for him. Dia thinks that Denny's is too cunning. Isaac liked to ask Leo something. He asks what the shadow should be like, not the one on Earth. Leo asks if he's talking about dancing. He explains that he wanted to ask Melody. She's silent. The prince explains that the shadow is the image of the partner that the dancer represents. He asks why he needs it. Isaac explains that this is what his teacher calls him. It turns out that he replaces Leo. Dia shouts that this is not true. She wanted to dance with Prince Roy's shadow, but what kind of dance was that? Emma tells her that she is trying to lead the prince. Everything is completely wrong. A man should lead, and she wanted to lead His Highness behind her. And when the teacher explained why she couldn't, she explained how she danced with Eyes outside. Then she decided to call Eyes for lessons, so she promises him that she never intended to put him in the shoes of Prince Roy or anyone else. Both boys are looking at her intently. The prince says that he understands everything, but remembers that she danced well last year. If Isaac was her partner, he must be good. I would like to see how he actually dances. Isaac says he got a pillbox. Because of this, he dances even worse than at 0 level, like stagey hands. He was thinking of being the lead in the dance and all, but he just follows Melody around, letting her be the center of attention. It turns out that they switched roles, and therefore the dance ended strangely. The teacher was angry. If he's going to fix it, you need to try harder to stand out or something. Leo asks him to go to the ball. Just because he doesn't want to be the center of attention doesn't help. It is better to try to get used to the attention of a huge crowd. Isaac doubts he'll ever make it to the ball. Leo says his birthday is in August, so he can easily invite a friend. Last year, he danced with everyone, including potential brides, but he never made a final decision and generally prefers to avoid tension. Anyway, he won't be dancing at the festival this year, and so Lady Lydia needs to find a partner. His presence will solve this problem. He asks Isaac what he has to say. He replies that he appreciates it and will take note of it. Isaac shouts to see if they can even hear him. Lydia says he doesn't have to come if he doesn't want to, and then she will talk to her father about finding a partner. Isaac realizes that he's upset her again. He says you meant that if she really doesn't have a choice, he'll think about it. Dia is happy. That is, first you need to ask permission from the Duke, but he will not leave her alone. The Duke asks if she really wants to take Isaac to His Highness' birthday party. It's a good idea. Lydia asks if this is true. He says that of course, if it is His Highness' request, how can he refuse? Isaac says he dances oddly, and the clothes too. The Duke explains that he liked the way Isaac danced, and is more than happy that Lydia will be dancing with him instead of with some sucker he's never met. Isaac agrees. Well, they need to work harder in their dance lessons, and he can see that they've already begun to learn the necessary etiquette in course of their training. Isaac asks you to try not to add to his work. Leo is happy that it's a good thing that Isaac coming to the party. Dia thanks him. This will be a good opportunity for Isaac to learn. Only Isaac is not happy. He gets the impression that the prince is constantly encouraging him to do something. He says he's exaggerating. You need to think of it as a gift. His birthday was this month. Isaac thinks that's some very dubious gift. It's hard to refuse it, and why don't they do it? Dia is upset how people give gifts so easily. She doesn't know what to give him, and his birthday has passed earlier than she thought, so she doesn't know what to think now. The prince says that he is sure that he will not mind if she gives something now, and he has no doubt that he will be happy to receive a gift from her. If she wants, he can give her advice. Not as prince, but as a mutual friend. She agrees, says that his opinion is necessary. And one more thing. She wants to ask him to wait a little longer before she responds to his suggestion. She will give an answer for the holidays at the very end. The prince agrees. He doesn't want her to answer right now. He preferred to just look at Isaac in formal attire. Lydia laughs and says that she is too. They decide to discuss what to give Isaac. Lydia asks if it's an idea. She wants to give him something so he can keep it as a keepsake. 3 months before Lydia has to make a decision.
The sun is shining brightly, Isaac is all sweaty and wet. Although July has only just begun, why is it so hot? Today he has a speech culture lesson with a teacher after lunch, and then immediately dance lessons with Miss Ella. Isaac sighs. It's been a tough day. He needs to rest. While he has the chance, he takes the basket and tells the gardener he'll take the roses to the estate. He runs through the garden with a basket in his hands, and suddenly notices an unknown man. Who is this? Isaac has been working at this estate for over a year, but he has never seen this man. He is so pale he is not a ghost, is he? It is warm outside, but Isaac is shivering. He approaches the man from behind, asking if he is okay and if he is alive. The man turns around with a questioning grunt, and they both freeze, looking at each other. The man mutters something under his breath. He smiles tightly and says he's fine. Isaac knows he's lying and says he doesn't have to pretend. The man's eyes are as green as fresh leaves, but now they look more like dead leaves. Isaac hands him one rose from the basket. It is not fully open yet, but it can be put in water to make it bloom. The man looks at the rose in surprise. He brings it to his face. Smelling it, it smells very nice. He thanks Isaac with a smile. Isaac is happy. Now the man smiles for real. He asks why the man was afraid of him. The Duke comes to them. He has already looked everywhere for the man. Isaac is surprised that the Duke sees him too. The Duke thought the man was following him. What is he doing here? He says he wants to introduce him to Isaac. Isaac asks again about Sir Ghost. The Duke laughs at him while Isaac looks at him blankly. The Duke introduces the man. It is Daniel, his dear friend, and he is more than alive. Isaac is shocked because a friend of the Duke means highly titled nobility. He bows, introducing himself as Isaac, the gardener's apprentice, and apologizes for his rude behavior. It's just that Daniel was wandering around like a ghost. The Duke laughs at the fact that he mistook Daniel for a ghost. Daniel sighs, painfully realizing that he must have looked like a wimp. The three of them are sitting in a room in the estate. Enough empty chatter. They can continue the conversation here. The Duke apologizes for distracting Isaac from his work. He sips his tea and says that it's okay, he was going to take a break anyway. Then the Duke will try not to take up too much of his time. He has a top secret request for him. He wants to ask Isaac to play the role of Daniel's son. Isaac is shocked. He apologizes, it's too sudden, and he doesn't know where this is going. Daniel nods. He knew it would be a tricky question. He explains that his son died of an illness last year, and he wants to ask Isaac to pretend to be him so that Isaac can help cure his wife. Isaac realizes that Sir Daniel's son is dead and his wife is ill, which is why he looks broken. The son who died of a sudden illness and left his father, Isaac sees a parallel with himself and his father. He clenches his fists on his knees, asking why him. Daniel could hardly believe it when he saw him. Isaac was the spitting image of his son. Duke Jural confirmed this, which is why he introduced them. Isaac asks what happened to his wife then. Daniel says she suffers from mental illness. She had a very hard time getting pregnant, so their son was a miracle. He was sickly but bright and cheerful. He and his wife treasured him very much. When her son was 8 years old, he died. Daniel's wife knew very well that she would most likely never have another child, so she refused to admit that they had lost their son. Daniel thinks that if Isaac talks to her, it will help her come back to reality. The Duke asks Isaac's opinion. Is he willing to help? Isaac says that he is himself and no one else, and he can't pretend to be Daniel's son. Daniel sags, he understands. Isaac says that he would still like to visit his wife. Daniel is surprised, asking again. Isaac doesn't want to just sit and do nothing. Maybe talking to someone outside will help Daniel's wife come back to reality. The Duke smiles. Daniel thanks Isaac. A few days later, Daniel takes Isaac to his son Elias's room at Spotless. Isaac wonders what happened to Tai Chi's room. He's holding a bouquet of flowers. Daniel offers him to change their Elias's clothes. Isaac awkwardly declines. He doesn't want to seem rude, but it's too rich for him. Isaac asks what his title is. Daniel is a marquis, the highest title of nobility. Isaac realizes that he cannot enter in his commoner clothes and agrees to change. Daniel smiles and thanks him. Clothes make the man who wears them beautiful. He offers to call a maid, but Isaac firmly refuses. Daniel places his clothes on the bed, telling Isaac to come out when he is ready, the door closing behind him. Isaac notices a framed photograph on the dresser. The photograph is of Sir Daniel, his wife, and Elias. Daniel said that Elias died when he was 8. It seems that he and Isaac really look alike. They are the same age, they have the same hair and eye color, and Elias died before anyone else in the family. After changing, Isaac comes out to Daniel. He's finished. Daniel looks at him in surprise. He bends down to straighten his tie. It suits Isaac very well. True, his wife bought it for Elias after his death. The suit lay and only collected dust. Daniel thought about throwing it away, but now he is glad that he kept it. He thinks that his wife will be happy too. Daniel knocks on the door and tells Annika that they have passed. Isaac is nervous next to him. Annika is sitting on the bed. She looks at Isaac in surprise and sees Elias in him. She asks how long he was gone. Isaac winces. Annika is glad that Isaac is wearing this suit, although he will probably grow out of it soon. Isaac bows. His name is Isaac Baumgartner. He hands her the flowers and tells her to get well soon. Annika looks at the bouquet. Are these flowers from their garden? Isaac says they are from the estate where he works. He asked his old man if he could take them. Annika says her dear Elias shouldn't call his father that, or is he old enough? Isaac realizes they are talking about completely different things. Isaac also baked a carrot cake. He hands it to Annika and asks her to try it. Annika worries that he was in the kitchen and could have burned himself or cut himself. Isaac tells her not to think about it and just try the cake. Annika takes a piece and takes a bite. It is delicious. Isaac is happy that she liked it. His mother taught him how to cook. Annika is silent for a moment and then smiles. She is sure that she can trust the chef to look after him. Isaac is dejected. It did not work, but he is not going to give up. He offers Daniel to try the pie, and Isaac himself to eat too. They eat the pie together. Daniel thanks him for the food. Isaac chews thoughtfully. It will do, but freshly baked would be better. He asks Lady Annika if she agrees. Annika agrees. Isaac is happy. It is almost a normal answer. Daniel says that the pie is very tasty. Isaac smiles. He will take it as an honor. Participating in the meal and enjoying the taste is only a small part, but it is still happiness. Perhaps if Lady Annika continues to experience happy moments like this, she will find the strength to face reality. They finish in about an hour. Daniel and Isaac come out of Annika's bedroom. Daniel asks what he would like as compensation. Isaac is surprised. He would be happy to help, so he doesn't need anything. Shares. Daniel counters that it was his request, and Isaac is already working, albeit only as an apprentice, and he would like to compensate him for his time. Isaac thinks about it and asks to see their garden. Daniel is surprised. Their garden pales in comparison to Gerald's garden, and there are no special rare flowers. Isaac still wants to see it. It's a rare chance to see the work of a gardener who is not his old man, so he calls Daniel. Isaac runs around the garden excitedly. There are yellow rose hips and blooming orange jasmine. It smells very nice. Everything is blooming, but Isaac sees key spots that are part of the intended composition, flowers that should evoke the seasons. He wonders if the orange jasmine is there to match the orange sunset. He has also heard that it makes a delicious jam. He asks Daniel if he likes jasmine jam. Daniel looks at him in shock. Isaac feels awkward. Apologizes for how one-sided and excited he was. Daniel says it's okay. He actually forgot what kind of flowers they grow here. Elias used to talk about them all the time. Isaac asks if Elias liked flowers. Daniel isn't sure. The only places he could move freely were the garden and the books. Maybe Elias only tolerated flowers out of necessity. Daniel said that Elias was bright and cheerful, so Isaac is sure that he really loved flowers. It is unlikely that a dishonest person could laugh the way Daniel described. Daniel agrees. Isaac is probably right. He remembers that Elias never stopped laughing his whole life. He always said he would get better soon. Isaac thinks that's really cool. Daniel turns to him, asking again. Not everyone can face death with a smile on their face. It sounds like Elias never gave up, even in his final moments. Isaac thinks that's pretty cool. Daniel agrees. Isaac is right. Tears begin to stream down his cheeks. Elias von Veit was their pride and joy. Isaac realizes that Elias really did make his parents proud. He was something else. Isaac didn't have the strength to smile. When he said he was dying, he didn't want to hold on to the life he had left. All he knew was fear. He had to be like Elias. He had to hold on as best he could. He remembers the girl asking him about his memories and regrets from his past life. Isaac tells his mother he's home. She comes out into the hallway to greet him, welcoming him home, surprised to see his dejected appearance. She slumps down next to him, hugging him. Isaac is surprised, asking what it is. She smiles, holding him close, and says he looked like he needed a hug. Isaac clings tightly to her clothes. Isaac starts to cry. He wants to live this life for as long as possible. Lydia has finally finished Isaac's birthday present. She hides it in her sleeve. Now she just needs to apologize for being late and present the gift. Isaac is very busy. She can't talk to him neither when he works, nor during classes, nor after. Lydia doesn't have a chance. Isaac has been working more than usual lately. August 1st is Roy's birthday, the day of the reception. The Duke comes down the stairs. He says that Isaac looks charming in this suit. Isaac fixes his hair, and thanks to Duke, he was surrounded by maids from the very entrance. The Duke laughs. Today is the day of Isaac and Daya's great introduction. Of course, the maids tried to help. And Isaac even has a whole suit, tailored to his own measurements, although he thought he would wear a used one. Lydia excitedly asks her mother if she looks strange. She assures her that she looks amazing. Let her raise her head. The Duke turns around. It seems Dia is ready. Lydia comes down the stairs, holding the skirt of her beautiful, full dress, her earrings jingling in her ears. Isaac freezes, looking at her. The Duke introduces their little princess. The Duchess was choosing a dress for Lydia. She asks Isaac's opinion. Isaac says that usually Lydia looks like a snapdragon, which is cute, but today she looks like a gorgeous white lily. Lydia blushes, stutters. She waves her hands indignantly, forbidding to speak sweetly or magnificently at the party. Isaac does not understand. She knows that he is not such a flatterer. He is unlikely to say something like that in the first place. Lydia thinks that this is the problem. The Duchess laughs at them. She is sorry that she cannot go with them. She has to take care of Flora. She will be looking forward to hearing their stories about how everything went. Lydia waves her hand. The Duchess wishes them luck. They go to the castle. The carriage stops. The nobility whispers, paying attention to her. Isaac bows and offers Lydia his hand. She takes it so he can help her out of the carriage. The von Ernst family has arrived. People look at Lydia and Isaac with admiration. They are so cute, just the perfect couple. Isaac uncomfortably thinks that beautiful people really deserve attention. With such success, they may not even be here. He remembers the instructions he received. Stay serious, but not stupid. And he must not look around. He is in the royal palace and must look ahead. They are met by a man and a girl. Lydia bows to Sir Zinvarek and Lady Thordelice. Isaac thinks Thordelice is the rabbit girl they talked about. She really does look like a rabbit. She must be Lydia's friend. And this tough guy knows the Duke. Isaac was told that, as an escort, he must know and remember the names, faces, and relationships of those present. He wasn't very good at this in his past life. This could be a problem. Zinvarek turns his attention to Isaac. The Duke introduces him as a servant from their estate. And Lydia's dance partner today, Isaac bows. Zinvarek is surprised that Lydia's partner is a servant, and not a cousin or something. The Duke says that there are no boys her age among the relatives. Zinvarek thinks that is wrong. Isaac mentally supports him. Zinvarek suggests that they see who has joined them this year. The Duke asks who it is. A breathless man approaches them. It is Sir Daniel. It turns out that the three of them know each other. Daniel says that Zinvarek was never late. Zinvarek says that even his daughter outdid Daniel. Isaac looks at Thordelice again, noticing that her face is flushed and she is breathing heavily. Is she tired of moving? He walks over to the table, taking one of the glasses from it. He hands the glass to Thordelice. She is surprised but accepts it, thanking Isaac. If she thinks a servant like him, then she is very kind. Isaac is glad that Lydia has such a friend. Isaac notices Lydia looking at him. He offers her a drink too, but Lydia refuses. Isaac doesn't want her looking at him from under her brows. Perhaps she will let him know that if something is wrong, then everything is fine now? The teacher taught Isaac that caring for young ladies is very important. He watches the adults talk. Daniel's condition this year leaves much to be desired, but it is understandable. Daniel will leave after greeting His Highness. Daniel smiles at Isaac, who bows to him. Isaac still visits Lady Anika once a month. It's a secret, so Lydia doesn't know he knows Daniel. Lydia laughs about something with Thordalise. Seeing a familiar face among all these strangers calms Isaac down. So far they've only heard the royal family speak, but he's already nervous, sweat dripping off him. This is the first time Isaac has seen any of Leo's family, and they're all shining brightly, but Isaac has to look at them, or it'll be disrespectful. The king isn't what he imagined. Isaac's only salvation is that Elena did not come, otherwise she would have made a mess of things here, although Elena wanted to come. Leo comes up to them. It is a pleasure for him to see Lydia. She bows, asking His Highness to accept their most sincere congratulations. Isaac thinks that here they meet again. Leo asks who Isaac is, her dancing partner. Lydia confirms. Isaac is a servant in their estate. Isaac bows. They pretend not to know anything. This task is not within his authority, but he will do his best. He needs to fulfill his errand. Leo smiles. He will be looking forward to see them dance. The music suddenly changes. The change of music means that it is time to start the dance. Isaac thinks that Leo did it on purpose, so that the dance will start and he will see them dancing. Isaac doesn't like all these looks, full of expectation. Even if he has become better, he still needs to make an effort to stand out. Not wanting to be the center of attention will not help him. He needs to try to attract as much attention as possible. All that remains is to just accept it. Isaac calls Lydia. He bows to her, offering her hand. She accepts, taking his hand, and they begin. Isaac keeps thinking about how he needs to stand out while he dances with Lydia. Isaac apologizes to Lydia. She wonders, is something wrong? Isaac tried, but he can't do it. Lydia sighs. This is what she was afraid of. She will lead the next movement. Let Isaac do everything as usual. Isaac agrees. Lydia twirls him in the dance. Her dress flutters beautifully. Leo watches their dance with surprise. The Duke smiles, singing along to the music. People are whispering what's going on. As far as they know, it's not something you'd write about in a dance book. Daniel says Lydia is incredible. Thordalise is also amazed. Lady Lydia is so beautiful. Leo understands. Isaac has implemented the idea of staying in the shadows and directing attention to his partner. He would never do that again. Isaac exhales. It's so much easier. He's surprised to see that Lydia is still wearing that talisman. Lydia nods. It was a big blessing last year, so she thinks he could help again. Isaac chuckles and smiles. That's how. Lydia tells him not to make that face as they dance. Isaac catches himself, apologizing. Lydia notices that the music is almost over. They are at the finish line. Isaac wishes they could continue dancing like that until the end of the party. Lydia wonders why. She thought Isaac didn't want to dance in front of such a big crowd. Isaac says that these aristocratic parties are so showy, all those decorations and chandeliers. But when he dances with Lydia, he only sees her. He smiles. Isaac remembers to keep a straight face. This evening is going to be a real workout for his facial muscles. Lydia smiles. Let him keep that in mind for later. Isaac tenses up. Is he really going to get scolded? They finish the dance. People around them applaud. Isaac and Lydia bow. They dance to only one tune, but they got such a huge applause. Rich people's parties are so strange. The Duke says they are great. Isaac was like the sepals that hold the petals. Thanks to him, Lydia was even more beautiful than usual. Isaac bows. He is honored, although the comparison seems strange to him. Leo claps for them. He must say that their dance was incredible. Isaac bows. Is he worthy of such words from His Highness? The girls admire Lydia. They crowd in front of her, introducing themselves. One of them is the daughter of the Marquis, Erika von Distel. Another is the daughter of the Count, Florence von Mauer. Her father works for Lord Gerald in the Ministry of Magic. The third is from the Count's family, Margaret von Lorentz. Her mother often communicates with Lady Octavia. Isaac apologizes to the teacher. In his mind, he's not going to remember all these names. It's weird that they're surrounding Lydia and not Leo. It turns out Leo went to greet other people. He's twisting the situation as he wants. One of the girls apologizes and asks Lydia how she can become like her. Lydia freezes. People whisper, some agreeing that Lydia is truly perfect, some wondering who she thinks she is, some not having the slightest idea of this place. Isaac leans toward Lydia, calling her name. Lydia raises her hand, asking the girl if she can touch it. The girl shyly agrees. Lydia pulls the elastic from her hair, which is pulled back into a smooth bun. Now it falls freely on her shoulders, slightly wavy. The girl is scared. Lydia takes her hands, telling her that she doesn't need to be embarrassed. She's gorgeous. Even if she's embarrassed about her hair, Lydia thinks it's beautiful. Isaac is surprised Lydia has shut everyone up. Lydia tells the girl that she doesn't have to be like anyone. She shakes her head and asks if she can at least ask her partner to dance. Isaac is shocked. Since she is the daughter of a baron, she has no partner. Isaac understands that she could ask someone of lower status, like him. Usually, a boy asks a girl, and she probably mustered all the courage that Lydia gave her. He bows to her, saying that he would be honored to dance with Miss Marigold. Isaac doesn't want her efforts to be in vain. They dance. It's the first time he's danced with someone other than Lydia, but it should be wonderful. The girl asks why he agreed to dance with her. Isaac smiles. He simply follows the wishes of Milady. At that moment, he was sure that Lydia did not know whether to refuse or not, but he knows that she would not pass by a man who humiliates himself like Katrina. It is better for a flower to bloom than to remain in a bud. He usually says this to Lydia. This girl's hair was tied with a rubber band and looked like a flower bud. Such an omission. A blooming flower is a beautiful sight, and it's right in front of him. They come back from the dance. Lydia whispers that he did it. Another girl asks if Isaac is the chaperone. She asks if she can go next. The other girls push behind her in line. Isaac awkwardly asks them to calm down. He calls them Miss Orchid, Miss Calla Lily, and Miss Dahlia. He can't remember anyone's name, so he's hoping for a flower trick. The other girls also start asking what flower they are. He calls them Miss Aster and Miss Woodland. They ask him what about Lady Lydia. They are both surprised. Isaac smiles. He would say that she is a flower in herself. The girls are delighted. Lydia squeezes his elbow. The carriage takes them back from the palace. Isaac yawns. It's finally over. He's danced with a fair number of girls. The Duke praises him. Isaac is a good boy. Without him, they wouldn't have had half the fun. Isaac is glad to hear it. He remembers that now he and Lydia can talk. She is surprised. Isaac had never seen so many young ladies at once, but Lydia was still the most beautiful. Lily flushes. Where did he get all this stuff from? She told him not to say anything like that at the party. But it was over, so why not? Lydia agrees, then an eye for an eye. She stutters. Isaac was incredibly charming today. Isaac is a little confused, but then he realizes the Duke gave him this suit, and then the maids fussed around him. He agrees, this suit is definitely charming. Lily is outraged. How can you be such a fool? She beats him with her fists. Appearing at this place in the evening was supposed to help Isaac with the dance. But, of course, this did not happen. All he got was the satisfaction of helping Lydia, and a good way to get tired. Isaac and Lydia fall asleep, cuddled together. Lydia and the Duchess are drinking tea on the balcony. The Duchess asks Lydia, smiling, if she knows the latest rumors about the so-called sepals. Lydia doesn't remember where she heard about it. The Duchess says that they say that everyone who danced with the sepal is inundated with countless marriage proposals. A baron's daughter danced with him and soon got a proposal from the Marquis's son. It sounds like a fairy tale, like a dream come true. Lydia asks why he is called Sepal, and not by his name. The thing is, no one knows his name, and no one knows what he looks like. Lydia asks if he's even real. The Duchess confirms. Everyone who danced with him looked more handsome and charming, so all eyes were not on him, but on their partners. Almost like a shadow, Lydia thinks. She thinks it might be Isaac. The Duchess laughs. It sounds like he's using magic. Too bad he caught a cold last week. Isaac is sneezing and has a runny nose. Mom helps him blow his nose. His temperature has dropped, but he is still sick. Considering the doctor's words that he got sick from the heavy workload, he needs to rest more. Isaac clicks his tongue. His father and he were so proud of his good health, and then he gets a cold. But given how these months had passed, Isaac had been gardening, dancing with Lydia, taking etiquette lessons from a teacher, visiting Lady Annika once a month, and occasionally accompanying Leo on his forays into the city center. Leo's birthday was probably unnecessary. He drained Isaac of all his strength, and then he got sick. A loud scream comes from the door. It seems to be Maria. Isaac's mother opens the door for her. Maria greets her. She brought them something today. She has a basket with different buns in her hands. Her family owns a bakery. She helped bake all this bread. Isaac's mom thanks her. Isaac sticks his head out of the room, looking delicious. Maria runs up to him, asking how he's feeling. Isaac is more or less okay. She exhales and suggests he take a walk. Isaac lies in bed all the time. It would be nice to stretch his legs. He asks his mother for permission. She tells him not to overexert himself. Isaac agrees to go for a walk. Maria's eyes sparkle with delight. They go for a walk around the city. Maria tells him something about Paul and Johann. Isaac mumbles something in response. He chews bread. Maria is indignant. Is he even listening to her? Isaac apologizes. Not really. It's just that the bread she baked is very, very tasty. That's all he thinks about. Maria is at a loss. Isaac smiles. The bread is incredible. He can't get enough. He is sure that Maria will make a wonderful wife one day. Maria blushes and stutters. She says that if he likes it, she would be happy to bake bread for him every day. Isaac wonders, free bread every day? Sounds good. Maria glares at him indignantly from under her brows. She shouts that he is terribly thick-headed. Does he really need to explain everything? She meant that she would like to be Isaac's wife. Isaac is shocked. He stutters, not knowing what to say. Maria screams that she likes him. She asks if Isaac likes anyone. He grimaces, no one. Maria asks about the young lady from the mansion where Isaac works. Isaac is shocked. He didn't think that about Lydia. Maria screams that he is lying. The reason he got sick wasn't it because he was exhausting himself for her? Isaac makes excuses. It's not like that. He was just doing some chores. He got sick because he didn't take care of himself. Maria screams. He would do anything for Lydia, and it's clear that she is special to him. Maria screams that she is waiting for his answer. She rushes past him and runs away. Isaac stands in shock. He wonders what he feels for Lydia. Suddenly, lightning flashes over his head, thunder roars, and a scream echoes. Isaac looks up in fear. People lean out of their windows, surprised by the thunder so close. Isaac can sense the spirits of light, and that voice, is that Lydia? He takes off. A few hours ago, Lydia sighs. She was planning to give Isaac a gift after Roy's party, but they haven't seen each other since he got sick. She gets an idea. If she says she's visiting him because he's sick, she can bring a gift and it won't seem weird. And Prince Roy often visits him, so she can too. Lydia asks Katrina if she has some free time after listening to music. Katrina agrees. After leaving the carriage will pass through the city center, Lydia can use this moment. Katrina asks if she plans to visit Isaac's house. Lydia blushes and twitches. She is at a loss. Is this bad? As her maid, Katrina cannot allow her to do this. It could be dangerous. Lydia is upset. She understands. Katrina says that if Lydia insists, she would rather support her than dissuade her. Lydia swallows nervously. No matter what happens, she insists. Katrina agrees. Here is the city center. Lydia is here for the first time. People are crowding and talking around. Lydia is walking next to Katrina, wrapped in a hooded cloak. She asks where Isaac's house is. Katrina checks the map. They will come to it if they go along this road. Some men are watching them. Lydia hopes that Isaac is feeling well. His father claims that it is nothing serious, but this is the first time he has taken such a long break. Lydia is very worried. It was necessary to force him to take a vacation so that this would not happen, although there is no denying that Isaac's persistence has paid off. The praise and applause they received at Roy's birthday party was mostly for Lydia, but as a Sepal, Isaac had also gained some fame among the gentry, and the words she dared to say to him on the way home were her real thoughts. Isaac had taken a place in that young lady's heart and made the bud bloom. Isaac, the gardener, became so charming and so proud. Lydia had already said that all eyes were on the young lady with whom he was dancing, and apparently Lydia was the only one who could not take her eyes off him. She remembers that heat in her chest, wondering what it was. Katrina screams, begging her to let go. The man grabs her hands. He leans towards Katrina's face. tears come to her eyes. They watch the little blonde for a while, but Katrina is okay too. If they sell them together, they will probably get a good amount. Katrina screams at Lydia to run away quickly. Lydia refuses, she will not leave her. The man reaches out to her, she will go with them. Lydia screams. A light flashes in the sky. Lightning strikes the ground in front of her. The men are shocked. Katrina breaks free from the man's arms and stands in front of Lydia, shielding her with her body. The men rush towards them, wanting to get to the little one. The man's hand suddenly encounters an electric wall. An electrical barrier crackles around Lydia and Katrina. The little one is using lightning magic. Lydia understands that they won't be able to touch them now, but what should they do next? The men decide to just wait, they've surrounded them anyway. Isaac runs up, breathing heavily, calling for Lydia. He yells at her to be careful and keep up the defense. Lydia agrees. The men are shocked, these kids came out of nowhere. A rock hits him in the jaw, Isaac throws another one in his hand. He swings it, yelling at Lydia and Katrina to duck. Katrina hugs Lydia, ducking. Isaac throws a rock through the electric barrier at the man. The man screams in pain. Isaac calls Lydia and Katrina to follow him. They run. Isaac screams about the kidnappers and calls the guards. One man is unconscious, the other tries to pull him away. They are stopped by the guards. Isaac asks if Katrina and Lydia are okay. Katrina nods. Lydia also confirms that everything is fine. Isaac exhales, thank God. Now he wants to know what they were doing in the city center, let Lydia tell him. Lydia blushes and reaches into her sleeve. She wanted to give him his birthday present. She takes out a crumpled box, looking at him with disappointment. Is this because of her magic? She should have given it to him much earlier. Isaac takes him by the shoulders and asks her to listen. Isaac would be happy with any gift she gave him, but what would make him even happier is if Lydia were safe and sound. Lily can give him whatever she wants. But she is the only one in this world, and he wants her to remember that. Lydia starts to cry. She apologizes for being so stupid. She's glad Isaac is okay, and she was so scared. Isaac is crying too. He was scared too, because he could lose her. Now it makes sense what that feeling is. It's ignited in Lydia's chest right now. Isaac realizes that she really is special to him. They think they love each other. After an attempted kidnapping in the city center, Lydia was returned home to her mother and father safely. She and Katrina were scolded by the headmaid, and Isaac, who had rescued them, took a few days off before returning to work as a gardener at the mansion. On the day when Lydia's love for him came to the fore, she realized how to respond to the prince's proposal. They haven't had a chance to meet since the birthday. Lydia remembers what they talked about earlier, right? She has to give Leo an answer after the party. Will she be his bride? A year ago, Prince Roy told her that she could use him as she wished. Leo confirms. Then Lydia is ready to do it. She uses him for her own purposes. Does she mean that she agrees to the engagement? Lydia confirms. Leo asks why she made such a decision. Lydia clenches her hands into fists. She wants to have the strength to protect the people she loves. When she was almost kidnapped, it was like she woke up. Her short-sightedness and incompetence, as the mistress of the estate, became painfully obvious. She wants to know what she's worth and what she can get herself into, and she uses her role as the royal bride to her advantage. Besides, the secret backroom deals Leo uses her for will almost always be for the benefit of the people she cares about. Lydia smiles. She'll be very happy if she can help in any way. Prince Roy secretly met with her father, the Minister of the Three Powers. He personally checked the city center. Lydia is glad that he wants to take care of the common people. She does not know the details, but she believes that one day he will lead them to a bright future, and one day Isaac as a commoner will benefit. Lydia knows more than Leo expected. It's very smart of her. However, when she talks about people she cares about, she must be talking about someone she has special feelings for. And despite this, she still wants to be his bride? Lydia agrees, that's why. Leo smiles. Lydia's really cool. Lydia says he's becoming more and more like Isaac. Never say that again. Leo apologizes, and now they make a deal about their engagement to his fiancée. They shake hands. That day, Isaac was in danger because of Lydia. It was the first time she saw him cry, and her heart ached at the sight of him. For as long as Lydia could remember, Isaac had protected her. Now it was her turn to protect her. Isaac sits on the edge of the fountain, sighing. He has been resting for too long and is completely out of shape. Now he takes too many breaks during work. And now he does not have a teacher and must do the exercises on his own. The reason he started practicing was because he wanted to protect Lydia, even in the city center. And when it finally happened, experience showed that it only scared her. If only Isaac could explain how dangerous it was for her. If only he hadn't come down with a cold. Everyone had kind words for him. Katrina said he had saved them, that they were not hurt only because of him. The Duke praised him too, that he had done everything in his power and made the right decision. But now Isaac knows for sure that he loves Lydia. Forgiving himself is the last thing he can do. He remembers how he promised to beat someone if he made Lydia cry. He hits himself in the forehead and winces in pain. Lydia appears from the bushes, asking what he is doing. Isaac keeps his promise. Never mind, Leo didn't come today. Shouldn't Lydia stay away from him? Lydia sits down next to Isaac. Prince Roy has already left. She hesitantly calls Isaac. She wants to give him something. Lydia reaches out and drops something into his palm. It's a ring, something engraved on it, a prayer. It's not in perfect condition because of Lydia's magic, but it's her birthday present. Again, belatedly, like last year, she is very sorry for all the trouble she has caused. But she had to give this to Isaac in exchange for this white clover ring. She takes out a bookmark with a clover ring from her sleeve. Isaac's heart is pounding. He didn't realize it was putting pressure on Lydia. Lydia asks him for the locket she gave him last year. Isaac gives her the locket and the ring. She twirls and twists something with them, and then puts it around Isaac's neck. Isaac is surprised. The ring now hangs on a cord along with the medallion. Now Isaac can wear it even when he works in the garden. Prince Roy taught Lydia this. The ring is some kind of talisman. Since the ring is a talisman, then, that's why Lydia insisted on visiting him while he was sick. She came to the city center to give him away. Kind but so distant. Real but strange and sometimes dangerous. Lydia, that's who he wants to protect, because Lydia stands up. She wanted to tell him something. Today, Lydia officially accepted Prince Roy's proposal. Isaac freezes in shock. Lydia likes Leo? Lydia says firmly that she likes him, but she doesn't really like him. Isaac doesn't understand. Lydia believes that Leo feels the same way. This engagement is only for our mutual benefit. A contract, so to speak. Isaac agrees. He asks if Lydia wants this. She confirms. It's her decision. Well then, okay. Also, Prince Roy and Lydia made a promise to each other. Isaac asks again. Since Lydia already has someone, they need to add another condition to their agreement. If Leo falls in love with someone else, they will call off their engagement. Lydia doesn't mind, but does Leo mean... Leo doesn't think so. He hasn't met anyone who would take on this challenge yet, but Lydia shouldn't worry. Isaac realizes that he and Leo are very similar. So if they both fall in love with someone else, they'll break off the engagement? Isaac jumps to his feet. This is great. Wonderful, he thought so. He takes Lydia by the shoulders. He wants so much for Lydia to marry the man she loves, for her to be happy with the man she loves. Lydia blushes and stutters. Isaac pulls away. One way or another, this means that he no longer has to be her dance partner. Leo is now her official partner. Lydia agrees. She hesitantly reaches out to Isaac. Can Isaac have the last dance then? Isaac bows and takes her hand. Of course he would love to. They dance in a clearing in the sunlight among the clover. That night, Isaac lays on his bed at home, looking at the ring he was given, and sighs. He always imagined this moment in an Otome game. He knew Lydia and Leo could get married, but he wasn't really ready for it. And he still hadn't gotten around to saying congratulations, knew that if Lydia married Leo like in the game, it would only be because she fell in love with him, again like in the game, but Lydia decided to go all the way no matter what happened. When she said that, Isaac was obviously not ready. He was tossing and turning on the bed, and the agreement that Lydia told about, it seems she has thought about it long and hard, so it is not worth sticking your nose into other people's business. Perhaps she and Leo will fall in love with each other. Each falls in love with him, like in the game. Or she will fall in love with someone else. But then Isaac is called to eat. He jumps up and runs to eat. The three of them are having dinner at the table with their parents. Isaac suddenly says that he might never get married, and his parents freeze in shock. They ask why. Isaac says he can't even imagine marrying the girl he loves. When he imagines a future where Lydia falls in love with someone else, Isaac isn't there. That is, as it turns out, he's not even an NPC, just a commoner with no power. Even just meeting Lydia and being with her like this is a miracle. Asking for more is greed. His parents agree. Isaac is surprised, is that all? They may not have grandchildren. In a past life, his parents would have hated him for that. Mom says children are a gift, not an obligation. Dad says their craft is passed down through skill, not blood. What Isaac wants to do with his life is up to him. Thinking about Lydia's engagement makes Isaac think about his own wedding in the future. After what Maria said, he tries to think about his future, to understand his feelings. But he can't imagine himself with Lydia, and he can't imagine marrying anyone else. It's all hard to explain. Maybe because he had no experience in his past life. Maria was completely honest with him, and he wants to be honest with her. It will take some time, but he wants to give her a real answer. He tells his parents that he made a choice and will take responsibility for it. He doesn't want to regret anything. For being reborn in this world, for falling in love with Lydia. Mom giggles. Isaac doesn't understand what's funny. Mom says he looks like his dad. Dad says he looks more like her. Well, Isaac is their child. Of course, he looks like both of them. He smiles and thanks them silently. It was the hardest day of Isaac's life. It was His Highness's birthday, and Isaac had to dance with all these young ladies. He is having tea in the garden with Daniel and Anika. Daniel says that it is proof of how good Isaac is at dancing. Isaac waves it off. Anika giggles. It is so exciting to hear Elias talking about his dreams. But today he looks like he has to smile. Isaac freezes and then laughs nervously. He doesn't know what she's talking about. He's as cheerful as ever. He stands up abruptly, noticing the gardener, and runs to greet him. Daniel and Anika watch him, surprised. Anika wonders what she can do for this boy. In fact, Daniel has been thinking about it too. Isaac comes home. His mother greets him. He has a package from Leo. Isaac is surprised. It would be great if Leo at least warned him. He takes the box from the table. It is lighter than he thought. It is better to open it in his room. Sitting on his bed, Isaac opens the package, surprised to take out a teddy bear. He does not understand why a bear. There is also a letter attached to the package. It says that this plush animal is enchanted and will help them communicate at a distance. Isaac is shocked. Is this a phone? To use it, fill the bear's eye with wind magic. The bear's eye lights up. An indignant voice comes from it, asking how much longer. Isaac is confused. He recognizes that voice. The girl with the other bear says that it's been a while since she's seen Tai Chi, or rather Isaac. It's Roy's beloved younger sister, a minor character in his route in Your Star, Felina Elena von Rosenheim on the line. Isaac is surprised why she's on the other end. Elena says that it's the only way to talk to him. She asked her brother to do it for her. Leo can do anything. Prepare a magic circle, cast a spell. Light magic and air magic allow you to communicate within light waves. They chose bears because they are cute. Isaac asks if there was a special reason to contact him. Elena says yes, something very important. Her little sister Lydia is just so cute. Lady Lydia has officially agreed to be engaged to Roy. Isaac already knows, right? Isaac knows. So Lydia came to visit them to officially greet everyone, and then Elena met her. She's real, in the flesh. She's just like a fairy tale. Isaac knows Lydia is cute. He doesn't need to be told. Elena says there was no hint of her complicated path. Like in the game, her character was as cute as her appearance. She's cute from head to toe, inside and out. And she also asked to call her sister. And what, is Isaac jealous? Of course Isaac is really suffering. Elena suddenly asks if he is doing everything right. Isaac does not understand what she is talking about. Lydia and Roy are now engaged. Isaac seemed to care about her very much. Or at least, he thought so when they met downtown. If Isaac did love her after all, Isaac did love her, but it didn't matter now. Elena was shocked. She asks what he means. She says that he likes Lydia. Isaac says the same. Elena doesn't understand why he's so calm. It's just feelings. Lydia's happiness is Isaac's #1 priority. Besides, Lydia is quite popular, right? Elena agrees. Lydia is beautiful and sweet, refined, educated, graceful. Then Isaac would be considered crazy if he didn't love her. Elena doesn't understand. Lydia is popular with Isaac as well as with anyone else. Elena still doesn't understand. She asks what he's going to do then, live his whole life belittling his feelings? It's not like that Isaac isn't trying to lie to himself. It's just that if he tells her how he feels, it will only make her life harder. Elena understands maybe that's true, but it's so sad. All Isaac wants is to live his life as a gardener. If his work brings Lydia some happiness, that's more than enough. And why does Elena even care? Isn't Leo her priority? Elena is indignant. She's here 7,365 days a year. Leo ends up engaged, just like in the game. It's so annoying. She spent all her energy to make it like in the game, but isn't the main character important? Any idea what to do with her? Elena doesn't know. Isaac asks why. Elena doesn't know her name, only what she looks like. She never used the standard names in Otome novels, always entered her own. Elena remembers that she has special magic and that she is a commoner. Maybe Isaac will look for her then. He is also a commoner. And how is Isaac supposed to do that without knowing her name? Elena sighs. He is right. People whisper behind Lydia's back, "She is so beautiful, the rumors are true." Tordelise apologizes. She warned about a small tea party with their friends, but her visit became known and now there are so many participants that it is impossible to count. Lydia tells her not to worry. Her invitation was enough to brighten her day. Tordelise is touched by her generosity. Of course, Lydia will always be admired, but this admiration among the noblewomen has only grown since that day. Now she is officially engaged to His Highness. Lydia agrees. Someone awkwardly calls them. The girl bows to them. She is glad to see Lydia. She is in her debt after His Highness's birthday. Lydia remembers that this is the Baron's daughter. Her name is Saskia. After the dance at His Highness's birthday, she became the bride of the Marquis's son. Lydia remembers that her mother told her about this. Saskia was also affected by this. Saskia is infinitely grateful to her. The words she said to her gave her the confidence that she should accept the offer. So she wants to thank Lydia, but her escort, the Seeple, is he with her today? Lydia explains that he was only her partner then, he is not her official escort. Saskia is upset. Tordelise would also like to talk to him. Lydia does not understand. Tordelise says that one can say that he values Lydia very much. She feels that they are united by their admiration for her. Lydia blushes. Every time Isaac spoke to Lydia, his features softened. Saskia noticed something similar when they danced. Lydia blushed and clenched her fists. What a cheeky behavior. The girls asked if everything was okay. Someone hiccuped loudly. Some girl tripped. Other people start whispering she can't even walk in that dress. What a pathetic creature and pathetic behavior. Lydia and Tordelise condemn it. They know the girl, she's a commoner, adopted by Count Hermann von Witting. Then everything is clear. Saskia wants to bring her. She leads the girl by the hand to them, asking if she is hurt. The girl is okay. They all introduce themselves to her. Saskia von Fayat, Tordelis von August, and Lydia von Ernst. And what is the girl's name? The girl introduces herself awkwardly. Her name is Stephanie von Witting. She bows. It is a great honor for her. The girls are charmed by her innocence. No need to worry. Is this her first time at such an event? Stephanie nods. Her mother got married in the spring, and now she belongs to the Count's family. Saskia is surprised. She doesn't remember seeing her at His Highness's birthday party in the spring. Stephanie decided not to go. Her knowledge of etiquette was much worse then. She heard there was going to be a small tea party today, so she thought she could come, but she wasn't prepared for such a crowd. And she made such a scene as she's slandering Mr. Herman's name. She was right that she wasn't prepared for such things. Lydia had to disagree with her. Stephanie was a commoner only a few months ago. Such a sudden change in her life must be taking a toll on her. It's easy to chalk it up to her background, but she doesn't need to justify it. Lydia feels like she's already proven herself to be a wonderful daughter in her new home. Stephanie is very grateful that she was accepted into the von Witting family. Her mother raised her as best she could, worked day and night, constantly, even living in poverty. All the rumors that he was interested in her mother are groundless. He was attracted by Stephanie's magic. But even now, they continue to love their late spouses, and in the end, she was welcomed into the von Witting's home. It was very sad to say goodbye to her friends, but now she can eat warm food every day, and her mother no longer has to work. Stephanie will never be able to thank the Count, but she can't take him for granted either, so she must try to live up to his expectations. It's her duty, as she stops. She is frightened. Why are the girls crying? Such an amazing story. She has experienced so much, bright as a star. Lydia says that Lady Stephanie has shown all her determination, but she wants to give her advice. The main action that determines the politeness of a lady is a curtsy. Let her try to remember. Stephanie realizes that she bowed to them as usual. Even after all her failures, she completely forgot about it. Lydia laughs. Everything is fine. Let her try gradually. Panicking will not help matters. She is right. Stephanie will try her best to be worthy of her level. Saskia will study hard too. Lydia doubts whether she is worthy of such praise. Tortoise says that she is as beautiful as it can be. Lydia blushes and mumbles they are all the same age. Wouldn't it be impudent to ask them to be her friends? The girls are delighted. She is so sweet. How can Saskia say no when such a thing is offered? Tortoise thinks she is so sweet, Stephanie agrees. If Lydia does not think she is a burden. Lydia is confused. Did she hear wrong? How should they address each other now? Friends use nicknames. When Stephanie lived in the city, her friends and family called her Fanny. This is short for Liz, so Thordalise can be called Liz. Saskia suggests they call her Kay if they want. They look at Lydia expectantly. Lydia blushes and tells them to call her Dia. The girls take her hand and smile, calling her Lady Dia. Leo says it's adorable. Lydia is as popular as ever. Lilia is shocked. The more he looks like Isaac, the more worried she becomes.